Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
Yes, we have to deny so many claims from us to meet our shareholders' expectations.
Including children, have lost their health insurance.
What's so frustrating is that politicians have spent decades saying they recognize the problem and they make promises to do something about it, and then almost nothing happens.
You know what they say to themselves in the dark. It's only a crime if you don't wear a tie. We keep them all busy paying their fines. In the epiphany, light up the spark. You know what they say to themselves in the dark. It's only a crime if you don't wear a tie.
Seniors are the fastest growing segment of the homeless population.
And this is a great thing because it inspires everybody, gets the motivation to look up to the 1% and say,
now they're looking at your vote, they're looking at your anger, and they're moving to apprehend those who say something in anger.
Increasingly by choice or by accident, this is the role our nation has taken, the role of those who make peaceful revolution impossible by refusing to give up the privileges and the pleasures that come from the immense profits of overseas investments.
That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs for Fable Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. And that's what it's about. It's all about passion. every swishy streams. All that content is bursting seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack.
Hello, everybody. How we doing, folks? Hello, sorry I am so late tonight. I did indeed get thrown a little bit of a curveball. Just had to incorporate some additional stuff into the stream. How we doing, folks? Hello, let me finish tweeting out the show. Okay. Talk about it. Get in the boat. Twitch, YouTube, and riverboat.gg. There we go. There we go. Posting a selfie. There we go. The cycle is complete, only to repeat again tomorrow. Hope your day was filled with amazing snacks. So I'm actually undergoing the process of trying to get rid of all of the food I have in like my fridge and my freezer in particular. And so today I did in fact have a bunch of amazing snacks because I tend to just buy like something that I really like and then I treat it like it's just an incredible treasure and I never eat it, right? So one of the things I had today, I had like potato pancakes, and it was like the potato pancakes were great on their own, but then I had the idea to fry an egg and put it on top of the potato pancakes. It was decadent. It was decadent. You know, it was good stuff. Hello, Fuzzy Buzzy. Hello, B Parker. Hello, what? What is a potato pancake? It's like a savory pancake that is neutral enough that so that it can also become a sweet pancake, should you so desire. Yeah, some latkes. It's true, Mr. Fluffy Wolf. I don't like eggs unless they're scrambled. Oh, you're missing out. If you fry your eggs and then cut open the yolk, it becomes like a transcendent experience. Did I syrup the pancakes? No, they were potato pancakes. I wanted the savory pancakes. Yeah, it's basically a thin hash brown. It has like a little bit more to the flavor profile compared to a hash brown, but basically the same thing. Hello, Nomi Sunrider. Hello, ACAB includes Tone Police. Hello, Plant923. Hello, 409. I get headaches from uncooked yolk. That is weirdly specific, but I'm sorry to hear that. I hate oil cooking. Can you make good potato pancakes in the air fryer? Yes, you can. Wait. Why are you guys talking about Cenk Uygur doing Jubilee? Why are you guys doing this to me? Did that happen? Wait, did that, has that happened? Is it publicly available? Because I'll throw all my other plans in the trash for that. Apparently? Well, fuck. I have so many other things I want to talk about. Okay, I just looked. And I don't see it. So I think we're good. It hasn't been released yet. All right. Whew. You guys scared me. My partner ordered me the largest blahaj, and I'm hugging blahaj right now. Hell yeah. next week, Jenkmas. Hello, vegan. Hello, Evelyn M. Hello, Christina /GamerG. Hello, Blueberry Bumblebee. Hello, the Death of Death. Hello, Tired and Trans. Hello, the Knifiest Duck. Hello, Irish Witch Hazel. Hello, Paladin Lost. Hello, Comrade Girl 2018. Hello, Rainbow Krampus. Hello, Medor. Hello, Tea Leaf. Hello, Jupe Pitterquake. I'm biologically male, but I like guys try to fertilize me. Hey, you never don't let your dreams be memes, okay? You never know until you try. Hello, Gem. Hello, Rhapsody Septagonopus. Hello, Buffalo Guy 1991. Hello, Mithril. Hello, Lily Loves. Hello, Steve Dories. Hello, Mercury. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mackenzie. Hello, Holly Hoomst. Hello, Punky Gal. Hello, Super Jack Guy. Hello, Trains and Bullshit. Hello, Salmon Moose. Hello, Metal Kitty Mom. Hello, Starm. Hello, Josh. Hello, Robert Adset. Hello, one and all. How are you all doing? Hello, Trains and Bullshit. Hello, Vol Turret. Hello, Travis T. Hello, Snuggle Kitten. Hello, Quiet Kitsune. Hello, everybody. Hello, Jeff Curry. Hello, Chloe B. How we all doing? Hello, Nightlight Plushy Jesus. Whoo! We got a lot to talk about today, but I thought we'd start with something kind of fun. Okay? Let's do this. So, folks, there's this media platform called Zeteo. And you should like, comment, and subscribe on all of their videos, just as you should like, comment, and subscribe on mine. But that's beside the point. They put out an incredible parody of centrist Democrats right now, because it has come to light that Hakeem Jeffries is hiring a social media like producer to like supercharge his online socials. And so basically, we can all see what is in the works right now is just they're gonna try and pull Zoran Mamdani's his presentation without any of his policies and see if that works for them. Okay? And I imagine this is going to be exactly the type of shit they're gonna make.
Zoran Mamdani just broke primary records in New York.
Wait a minute. Why is the chat broken? We must fix the chat. Why broken? This is weird. Wait a minute. Looks fine on this page. I guess I'll just copy and paste it over. Ah, there we go. Okay, paste as a new source. There we go. Okay, I think that fixed the chat. Quick, everybody talk. Quick, talk like your life depends on it, you fools. Okay, there we go. Cool. Awesome. All right, cool. Let's get back to this now that we've fixed it. Now that you can all see one another's big fat dicks again.
New York, but not because of his radical plan to make the city more affordable, but because of TikTok, hand jewelry, and snappy editing. So we're bringing you that very hip, very cool campaign, but with the same poll-tested, market-friendly, centrist ideas that help maintain the status quo. People say the rent is too darn high. I hear that. I feel that. But we can't freeze the rent. That's irresponsible. But we can incentivize landlords to delay rent increases for select tenants who meet narrow income thresholds. We need to develop more, build more, and cut all the red tape that's slowing us down. That's why I co-sponsored the Affordable Market Solutions Act, a bold bill that directs public subsidies to private developers to build a limited supply of affordable housing over the next 7 to 10 years. And that's just a taste. Oh, this is messy. Too many of our neighbors are...
This is a parody? Yeah, it is, but this is like almost word for word what Hakeem Jeffries' next TikTok is gonna be.
Are being left behind by unreliable buses and trains. That's why we're going to launch a pilot program to create transit advisory panels. And the beautiful part, we don't have to pay for any of it, because there's nothing to pay for. Because ultimately, it doesn't take big structural change to get the abundance we deserve. It just takes a big tent. That means respecting our hardworking, job-creating billionaires and making sure they feel just as welcome in our city as you and I. Please don't leave. We don't need socialism. We need public-private partnerships. This campaign is not left. This campaign...
Oh God, that line gets me every single time. We don't need socialism. We need public-private partnerships while looking just absolutely fucking insane. The delivery on this is so good. It's so good. Most sane-looking centrist, by the way.
Partnerships. This campaign is not left. This campaign is not right. It's something different.
Paid for by more of the same pack, Moms for Centrism, and the Definitely Not Evil Foundation.
Please post this somewhere. I don't need to post it anywhere because it's over here on Blue Sky, on Zateo's Blue Sky. Hey, did you know you could just follow Zateo on Blue Sky instead of on Twitter? Did you know you don't have to subject yourself daily to Nazis and white supremacist propaganda? You can just go to Blue Sky and people there post about dinosaurs. It's great.
Anakin, I don't trust your guy. Buddy Poutine.
Jupiter Quake, thank you very much for the $6.66 super chat. Yeah, X the Nazi app, exactly. All right. Is Jeffries pulling a how do you do, fellow kids? He's literally hiring someone to help him do that. I don't know. I just think that's fun. I don't have a ton of like in-depth commentary on this outside of like that is unfortunately what you all have to look forward to in 2026. Like in about anywhere from 4 to 6 months from now, you're going to start to see ads like that show up all across social media, being blasted onto your different timelines, and it's going to be rough. Because can any of you imagine a world in which Hakeem Jeffries, someone who is completely without riz, like just completely without riz, to the point where like he's now been memed. Look, this is the Hakeem Jeffries meme. It's just like he looks like he's 5. It's genuinely like dog, you don't got the sauce. But also most members of Congress don't have the sauce. Is that edited? It's edited slightly, but the effect is basically the same. Yeah, I was thinking backyard baseball. But it's going to be everywhere, folks. It's going to be absolutely everywhere, and it's going to become insufferable. So apologies to the progressive candidates who are trying to make themselves known in the field. I guess you'll just have to rely on your better policies, which is ultimately the only thing that made Zoran Mamdani successful. Like, you can have the slickest produced social media videos you want, but if you don't got the sauce, if you don't got the policies, people aren't going to line up behind you. So that being said, let's move on. Now, folks, let's okay, let me pull this up. I need to find the start mark in a long video. Sorry. Okay, cool. So, folks, as many of you know, I use Asmongold for a bellwether of sorts, a kind of indicator of where the MAGA base actually lands, because that's basically his audience. You know, it's basically a bunch of people who are fascinated and hypnotized by the ideas of that man who uses a rat as a clock and has a blood wall in his home. Yeah, the mold man. Exactly. Let's check in because he has a clip on his channel from yesterday titled "What the fuck is happening now?" And I figure, hey, I don't know what the fuck is happening now. Let's find out from the MAGA whisperer himself.
There is this situation recently. Basically, Donald Trump is going to arrest Obama and he's going to charge him for treason. No, he isn't? Okay. I'm going to show the clip of him saying it. Tulsi Gabbard just handed Donald Trump the receipts to launch a criminal investigation on bomb sale claims Barack Obama admin manufactured Russian collusion hoax. Here we go. Trump declares that Obama is guilty of treason.
But the leader of the gang was President Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. He's guilty. It's not a question, I like to say, let's give
Wait, are we sure we're talking about the right Barack Obama? Was his middle name Hussein? Yes, Barack Hussein Obama. Okay, we're on the same page about which Obama you're talking about.
Time. It's there. He's guilty.
Yeah, genuinely, all of the greatest hits are playing right now. All of them. Give it one more day, and Trump will say in a press conference that he's never really figured out the birth certificate situation with Obama. Genuinely, give it 1 to 2 more days, and it'll get there. Okay.
This was treason. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. And we have all of the documents. President Obama, it was his concept, his idea, but he also got it from crooked Hillary Clinton. Crooked is a $3 bill. Crooked Hillary Clinton. Crooked is a $3 bill.
I was thinking about that for a minute. I said, what the fuck you mean? Yeah, he's even posting this, bro. He posted...
You had to think about a $3 bill for a minute?
This is illegal? Doesn't matter. He's the president. Yep. Do you think it's pettiness? Do you want Obama in jail? If he was trying to change the outcome of the election, then yeah, absolutely. If he gets convicted, sure. I don't think anybody should be above the law, including Trump. That's the reason why.
It's incredible that in this clip, he literally goes from, it's illegal, he's the president, oh well, to, I don't even think Trump should be above the law.
Wanted the Epstein files released. That's, of course, it should be the case. Duh.
It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So,
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place.
Man.
Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? Can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign. And you will see that, Leslie. And you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact.
You will see that and you will know it. And now here he is. Oh, man.
As you can see, the attempts to jingle the keys to distract the MAGA base might, in fact, have a little bit of purchase. And a lot of it stems from today, Tulsi Gabbard, different, Trump has been kind of bringing this up. We showed that AI Obama getting arrested video a couple days ago. But Tulsi Gabbard came out today with a press conference and escalated it to a new degree. Let's take a look here.
In coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified Oversight Majority Staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true.
Okay, that's an interesting claim to make. What is the evidence?
It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible.
Because, I mean, if you're trying to allege that this is a very complicated hoax, the depth and complexity of the flowchart behind you indicate that I think maybe it's not as complex and diabolical as you might think.
Intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration. We're here today because the American people deserve the truth, they deserve accountability, and they deserve justice.
Okay.
The records that we released on Friday that were ODNI records, Senator Chuck Grassley's release on Monday of what is known as the Clinton Annex, which was an appendix to the Department of Justice Office of Inspector General's 2018 report, as well as the House Intelligence Committee's majority oversight report that we're releasing today, all come back to and confirm the same report. There was a gross politicization and manipulation of intelligence by the Obama administration intended to delegitimize President Trump even before he was inaugurated, ultimately usurping the will of the American people. I'm going to go over the key findings from the House Intelligence report.
Keep in mind here, folks, that like if they're genuinely going to pursue Obama is guilty of treason, like that's a crime if you are found guilty of that you can be put to death for. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but if any of that like starts happening, it's maybe your signal that like if we can't stop that from happening, that's a very bad sign for where our country is going.
Which investigated the claims that were made by an intelligence community assessment ordered by President Obama and published in January of 2017. First, Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate.
Yeah, which candidate was pushing for the same thing? Which candidate was talking about how the election was going to be rigged before the election happened? Which candidate was aligned with Russia? That talking point, Tulsi. I can't recall. Did it rhyme with rump?
In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency. In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory. The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign.
The wording here is so goddamn vague that it's impossible to come to any like actual conclusion. Like, what does that mean? The State Department showed patronage to people going and going to campaign rallies or political events. What does that mean? That doesn't really mean anything unless you are going to get specific about it. Nobody can actually believe this. Well, we just saw the dumbest man on the internet, Asmongold, see like a brief bit of this and like go like, oh, they're gonna arrest Obama.
There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that
not uncontrolled fits of cheerfulness. The horror.
And Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump. Brennan and the IC misled lawmakers by referencing the debunked Steele dossier to assess quote-unquote Russia's plans and intentions, falsely suggesting that this dossier had intelligence value when he knew that it was discredited. The intelligence community excluded significant intelligence and ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence that contradicted the intelligence community assessment's key findings on Putin's alleged support for Trump. Including this intelligence reporting would have exposed the ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous. The intelligence...
Yeah. The U.S. government, especially not now under Donald J. Trump, would never come across as ridiculous.
The intelligence community assessment omitted reliably sourced information, such as how some Russian intelligence officials were quote-unquote planning for candidate Hillary Clinton's victory, while others assessed neither Trump nor Clinton would respect Russia's interests. As was reflected in the ODNI documents that we released on Friday, multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th of 2016, the FBI and ODNI gave the House Intelligence Committee its first post-election...
This is genuinely embarrassing. Like... It is genuinely embarrassing. They're trying to allege, like, there was a full-blown conspiracy perpetrated by Obama and his underlings in order to, like, stop Donald Trump from winning the election using the power of the State Department to, like, make him look bad. But, like, no one needed the power of the State Department to do that. Like, my recollection of the 2016 election is relatively no interference from establishment Dems or from, like, you know, the Empower Party of under Obama, largely because the working assumption was that Hillary Clinton was going to win. But if you're bringing up the fact that, like, Putin and Russia were interested in working with, you know, working an angle that spreads disinformation and distrust in the very mechanisms of democracy itself. Like, there was one candidate running in 2016 who talked about that nonstop, like day after day, month after month, for like 6 months leading up to the election, and it was Donald Trump. So obviously the Russian narrative that was being pushed by bot farms, it was being pushed by misinformation agents in the United States. We know that for sure. Obviously, that would align with Donald Trump.
Election classified briefing, in which there was no mention of Putin aspiring to elect Trump by either agency. The presidential daily brief drafted on December 8th of 2016, stated that no Russian or criminal
Remember,
act.
every accusation made by a Republican cultist fascist is just a lie to cover up that their dear leader is a child trucker.
It's true. We'll get to that, though.
Factors impacted vote counts. This document was pulled just hours before it was to be published due to quote-unquote new guidance. If it had been published, it would have been briefed to both President Obama and President-elect Donald Trump.
Also, can anyone remember the document that got released like a week or two before the election that measurably swung people towards Donald Trump? Can anyone recall who released those documents? I wonder.
On December 9th, 2016, a national security...
I guess the Obama boys missed the one rogue in their midst.
Council meeting was called to gather President Obama's senior national security officials, which included CIA Director Brennan, then Obama DNI James Clapper, Susan Rice, and others. Following that secret meeting, DNI Clapper's assistant sent an email to the intelligence community.
Yeah, there was that James Comey guy. That James Comey guy, head of the FBI? Yeah, remember right before the election in 2016, James Comey dropped the findings about like the emails right before the election. Like the whole but her emails thing was this. Like what they're saying is that like, yes, the State Department, everyone in the federal branch of government was colluding against Donald Trump unfairly with Obama, their leader. And then it's like, except for James Comey, who was very oddly not involved in this conspiracy and torpedoed Hillary Clinton's campaign right before the election. Like, her campaign was dog shit, but that FBI document release really fucked her.
With the subject line, POTUS tasking on Russia election meddling, tasking ODNI leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request. The House Intelligence Committee oversight report that we released today reveals that, quote, unlike routine intelligence community analysis, the intelligence community...
Yeah, exactly, Quiet Kitsune. She's playing coy with the language, right? Like, oh, Russia had no influence on the outcome of the 2016 election. In different contexts could mean a lot of different things. Is it talking about the security, like the cybersecurity systems of the voting machines? Is it talking about, as we know for a fact did happen, online influence campaigns or, pulling the strings of various talking heads in the media that we are aware of? Folks like Sebastian Gorka, people like that.
Assessment was a high-profile product ordered by the President Obama. It directed senior intelligence community agency...
Why, yes, James Comey, the father of, what is her name, Magdalene? I feel bad that I can't remember her first name. The father of Miss Comey, who was just fired by the Trump administration. And oddly enough, Miss Comey, was one of the people who prosecuted Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And P. Diddy, by the way. So just as an FYI, she was genuinely one of the few people in our government working to save the children in like an actual kind of way. Like at least bring the victimizers of children to justice. Maureen Comey. Thank you, Daniel Pierce.
Heads and created an intelligence community assessment limited to just 5 analysts using one principal drafter. This is not something that occurs in the normal path of producing an intelligence community assessment that reflects the views across the intelligence community. The production of this intelligence community assessment was subject to unusual directives directly from the president and senior political appointees, especially the former director of the CIA, John Brennan. The House Intelligence committee oversight report also shows how later that same day, on December 9th, Brennan ordered the publication of quote-unquote substandard reporting on Russian activities, which had previously been withheld from publication of prior assessments because the
Okay, I was hoping that this was going to be a lot more interesting, but at this point I just want like a good shot of the graphic behind her. Mostly because I don't think any of what she's saying has any merit, so I'm not going to waste your time and like go through this step by step. But I do want to look at the graphic that's
Hillary
behind
Clinton
her.
until compromising material on and his important coordination with the House.
Okay. The secret Russia meeting. Real intel assessment. Donald Trump. Presidential election.
I actually believe the Russian influence in 2016 on the election is negligible compared to the mistakes Clinton made. But goddamn did the Trump campaign try to.
Well, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Yeah, I don't think like the Russian interference was like overwhelmingly impactful, but also I do think it happened, and I do think there was an attempt by Russia to reach out to the Trump campaign. And I largely think that because people went to prison for lying about that. So, the elaborate plan. Step 1, real intel assessment. Step 2, POTUS briefing pulled. Step 3, secret Russia meeting. Step 4, Obama order. Step 5, politicked intelligence, maybe? Deep state leaks. Fake weaponized assessment. Russia hoax. Boom. This is genuinely like a step 1, start a company. Step 2, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 3, profit. Just because like there is not at all a clear connection between all of these different things. Yeah, this is a Pepe Sylvia situation. God. Now, why is all of this happening, folks? Why is this all happening? Do you think Trump is going to have Obama arrested? I would imagine he would really enjoy that. I imagine he would really enjoy that. But folks, why is all of this happening? Why is there such an effort to pin this on Obama, to bring up Hillary Clinton, to talk about, you know, scandals that are now like almost a decade old? We're talking like 2015 scandals during the election, 2015, 2016. Like, why? Well, we talked about this a little bit the other day, but it's a massive distraction attempt, like a massive one. Here's Ilhan Omar really kind of providing the cutting edge analysis. The Pedophile Protection Party is shutting down Congress just to avoid voting on the release of the Epstein files, which is true. Yesterday, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House for the Republicans, voted to send everyone out on an early 6-week vacation to delay voting on the Epstein files. Something that many Republicans wanted to do already. So, interesting that they are running away from this so quickly. It's also interesting. I want to pull this quote. This is from Rolling Stone last week, because this story just isn't dying. And this is a pretty unique anomaly for Trump and his campaign, right?
The examples of ads run by Russia were pretty pathetic in 2016, and I think it was the other way around. The Trump campaign reached out to Russia and started it.
That could be. It could kind of be like a, yeah, you know?
I remember watching a news program while on a study abroad in Russia, and Putin straight up admitted to the 2016 collusion. He laughed about it.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy what Russians will just openly admit on their television shows. It's wild. We're not much better here in America, so it's not like we have the high ground. But that being said, here's a quote from Rolling Stone. They won't shut the fuck up about it, Trump privately vented, referring to conservative influencers and media types lashing out over the Epstein memo, according to a source with direct knowledge of the matter. Like, damn. This guy had it up to here with this a week ago, and it hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, it's gotten actively worse. And today I was doing some light reading. I was doing a little bit of light reading, you know, how I do. And I came across this Mother Jones article from 2020, which is honestly some really great journalism. I'm just going to copy a link into the chat for you guys to check it out. But basically, this journalist called every single number in the Epstein's little black book, right? And I was scrolling through it, I was reading through it, and I came across this picture that is captioned Jeffrey Epstein with the late Marvin Minsky, known as the father of artificial intelligence. And like, you just know if Jeffrey Epstein was alive right now, he'd be all over this AI shit. He'd be all over it. Just nonstop. But basically, a lot of this article is about how Epstein had like this reputation as being like far out there intellectually and like, you know, weird and strange, right? But people paid attention to him because of his money. And honestly, the picture it kind of paints of him is very similar to a Joe Rogan type, where like he had enough money and power and influence that like smart people would come and like talk with him and spend time around him because he was very connected and held a lot of power. But like it was kind of like just like a king holding court who knows nothing about the sciences but is bringing in like the magicians to have them explain the mysteries of the universe to him. It literally, in this, people talk about him having like science symposiums in like his houses or islands or whatever, and asking questions like, what is up? Like, what is the concept of up? So we're talking like a real five head kind of guy, you know? But I just found it fascinating, and I also just somehow hadn't, through osmosis, read the story of how Jeffrey Epstein's little black book was obtained, because I always assumed that the little black book was obtained when they raided his house or when they, like, the first time around, you know? And no, that's actually not how they got that at all. How they got Jeffrey Epstein's little black book was from his butler. His butler had this, and the little black book had been compiled by Jeffrey Epstein's employees, like presumably over a long period of time. And so there's just a lot of like symbols written in, and it's not fully legible to those who read it, because we don't know why are some names starred, why are some circled, why are there arrows pointing to some, you know? And it's fascinating, right? But that being said, I found it really interesting. And I find this particularly interesting as well. This is from when he was deposed in 2010. And I think you all might find this particularly interesting.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a person...
I've never heard someone assert their rights to the 6th and 14th Amendment. when pleading the fifth. But pretty interesting stuff, right? Yeah, not a good look if you're the current president of the United States. That man had to think through a lot of different memories to see which ones he might be able to tell in a deposition, and decided none of them. None of them. Now, again, just some interesting stuff. I also wanted to throw this out there because I saw this making the rounds and I thought it was very funny, right? So there's this guy named Joey Manorino. He's like, as far as I can tell, he's just like a Twitter poster. And he's insane. I know him because I am aware that he, during like from like 2023 to 2024, for like a solid year, he was talking about nonstop about any kind of liquid that he associated with wokeness. He would call it T-slur semen. He didn't say, he just said the slur, obviously. And he would just say that all the time. Like all the time. Like he like alleges people are secret trans people all the time. He's very, very broken mentally, and I don't know in what way. Yeah, it is very fetishistic, to say the least. But he also has a history of tweeting different things about the Epstein files, and someone found these two incredible posts. One is from February 26th, 2025. And it goes, "The Epstein files come out tomorrow. Any living people on that list should immediately be jailed." Earlier today, July 23rd, 2025, being in the Epstein files does not mean you're a pedophile. It's this is the kind of turn you're seeing some of these people make, because that's a man who's like, oh shit, he's in the files. Uh-oh, stinky. And I mean, it's a good calculation, a solid explanation. But I also wanted to point out something, because I missed this when I covered this story yesterday, right? But CNN got access to a bunch of photos and videos of Epstein at Trump's wedding. And one of the pictures in particular makes him look incredibly demonic. But I hadn't put together, and I want to credit Tim Carvel, who's the executive producer of Last Week Tonight, that I did not put together the timing. That this story dropping yesterday suddenly led to a massive ramp up of the "we need to prosecute Obama as a traitor." Because I think before it was just kind of like we're gonna throw that out there as an idea, see, like maybe it will distract them for a week. I think that story came out, and remember, the author of this story writes, "I had a brief phone call with President Trump this morning. When asked about the photos showing Jeffrey Epstein attended his wedding, he responded, 'You've got to be kidding me,' before repeatedly calling CNN fake news and hanging up." So I think that we're in a new level of desperation here, folks. I think we're at a new level of desperation. We should make
start
bingo
making
cards.
bingo cards for all the dumb stuff Trump will make up to distract from this.
We absolutely should, Jazz Dog. That is an excellent idea. We should play community bingo. Or rather, you guys should. I need to be unbiased as the person putting this out there. But thank you for the $5 dono. Now, I do want to point out another Wall Street Journal piece has hit the building. Okay, very specifically, we got a piece that puts Donald Trump in a bit of a bind. Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that this article is it's very careful with its language, and it doesn't assert, like, it doesn't go like, well, it makes clear, like, well, you know, a lot of people might be in those files. It's not necessarily proof of wrongdoing. And but understand that that is them covering their own ass, because there's going to be a shitstorm about this, and there already has been. This came out a few hours ago. And I do want to say that what makes this story particularly damaging is that Donald Trump earlier this week denied that he had been told about this. He said that he hadn't been briefed by the Department of Justice. He said that to the press. So what I'm saying here is we got this guy in a lie, and, you know, going out on a limb and assuming there's nothing incriminating in there, it's just all harmless mentions of Donald Trump. Why would he lie about it? Why would he lie? So I think it's really, really interesting. Additionally, this reporting seems to come from different sources in the Trump administration, right? So it includes some stuff baked into it. Like, oh, well, and Pam Bondi said she didn't want to release the documents.
Isn't it terrible that innocent transgender brothers and sisters are being accused of frequenting Epstein's cafe when that culprit was found elsewhere?
I don't know what that means. I haven't heard anything about that. But that is terrible. I think. Thank you for the $5 super chat. But understand that, like, this is being leaked because I think someone in the administration is trying to cover their ass, and that someone might be Pam Bondi or, like, someone on her staff. And I say that largely because Pam Bondi doesn't have a whole lot of allies among MAGA influencer types. Like, if she goes down for this as, like, the fall guy, she's done, and I think she knows that. Because MAGA in general is looking for anyone other than their big orange fave to pin this on. And so it's going to be interesting. But understand, this is a bullshit reason to not release, like, the Epstein files, right? This is a bullshit reason. And because you can just redact information. You can redact the photographs or videos. You don't have to release the child pornography into the wild. Nobody wants that. But what we do want is we want to know who is responsible and a reasonable amount of proof that shows who did this child abuse. Who was funding Jeffrey Epstein? Where did the money come from to make his life as lavish as it was? To what degree was he associated with modeling agencies that we know were convicted of sex trafficking? What, like we need to know that information, and that information is presumably in the FBI's possession right now. So there is, of course, a lot of stuff going on. And just to be clear, I wanted to do my due diligence because I remember we talked about how Trump's name, according to Mueller, she wrote of all places, was in the Epstein documents, according to some of their sources in the FBI. And we talked about that a few days ago, but this has now been corroborated by the Wall Street Journal and CNN. CNN even uses like a different source that they talk to for the story. And well, interesting stuff. Yeah, the conversation in May, which was also included Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, was characterized by two White House officials as a routine briefing that covered the scope of the Justice Department's findings. Trump's name appearing in the files, they said, was not the sole focus of the discussions. Bondi also raised in the meeting that several names of high-profile figures were also mentioned, and that investigators did not find evidence of a so-called client list or evidence refuting that Epstein died by suicide, the officials said. So that's interesting, but I'm also just throwing out there, I don't necessarily fully believe the sources that they're talking to get a handle on this information, okay? Now, I do want to take a look. We need to check back in with our MAGA whispering correspondent, Asmongold. Asmongold, what is your reaction to this news?
Oh, shit. Exclusive. The Justice Department told President Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. What does this mean? Bondi also told the president at a meeting that the Justice decided not to release more Jeffrey Epstein documents because of the presence of child pornography and the need to protect victims. That's total bullshit. They could have censored that out. Nobody was asking for that in the beginning. They discovered Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials. In May...
Wait a moment. This was last May.
Time to drop the really big ball. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald Trump.
Now, I do have to hand it to either to Asmongold's editor for catching that, because that's pretty funny if like Elon Musk found that out and immediately went and tweeted it. That's genuinely very, very funny.
Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. If Trump was implicated in those files, the media and Democrats wouldn't have dropped that nuke. So you bring up a very good point. If Trump was actually implicated in these files, why didn't the Democrats drop it? And do you want to know the reason why, I think? It's because they were implicated too.
You did it! You did it! He did it, everybody! He did it! He...
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh my god, the world's dumbest man figured it out! Oh my god! Our bellwether. Guys, you know what this means? Our bellwether for the MAGA base. They aren't convinced by this. They aren't convinced by like the attempted distractions on Obama and stuff. They are in fact like understanding this enough to be like, yeah, that seems like bullshit. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That seems like a lie. Incredible.
Accelerationist in me hopes that at the end of the day, this causes the Epstein files to get released. Now he has to prove that it isn't true.
By the way, I just want to point out that is a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell at Hillary Clinton's daughter's wedding.
Causes the Epstein files to get released. Now he has to prove that it isn't true. Here's the problem, though. If Trump shows the Epstein files, a lot of people are going to say that it's fake. How can we trust the Trump administration to be able to do this authentically when the biggest thing that they ran on, they're not releasing? And I think
that's the great part. You can't, because they're liars, and they have been the entire time. That's like the missing puzzle piece for you guys. Hey, if you're a conservative, these people have been playing you the entire time. Literally the entire time. They told you the budget that they were just going to pass was going to make you richer. It literally, and reduce the deficit. It's literally going to increase the deficit by almost $4 trillion. Like, Y'all been played. Y'all been played, and they're stealing from you to give to their rich asshole friends.
That's a big problem. Would you want Trump to be impeached if he's in the Epstein files? No, I'd want people to go to jail. If Trump is found to be involved in the Epstein files and he was involved with any sort of human trafficking of anyone, not even including of anyone of any age, especially underage people, then no, I'd want him to go to jail. Like, I don't care about impeachment. Who cares about impeachment? Trump got impeached twice and nothing happened. Jail him? Yeah, but then...
Trump requests release of Epstein court documents, but says nothing will be enough for the troublemakers. Nah. Guess what? The judge ruled that they're going to keep that case closed. Now, there is a chance that they might unveil what happened in the New York court, because there were two different cases, keep in mind. But understand that the grand jury stuff that has been that he requested to get released, that's only
once again,
related to the grand jury stuff.
Saying, a fetid rat clock is right once a day.
Jesus Christ. Thank you for the $5 dono. But so the grand jury testimony and information and stuff, that is only going to be applicable to that specific case, to the people who were the subject of indictment. In this case, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, right? So those documents are not even the ones we are wanting. The FBI already has all of the documents. Guys, and good friend mod Nindreen made me aware of this, but several days ago, an unredacted list on the DOJ on the justice.gov website of everything that was seized from Jeffrey Epstein's home became public. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Because it's right here. Look at that. So we'll go through this. One cellophane containing one DVD-R containing image log files and FTK reports for system information on selected items. LTO 6 tape cartridges containing an ACServe backup of all digital evidence. 2 LTO 6 tape cartridges containing an ArcServe backup of all digital evidence from submission, blah, blah, blah. CD labeled Girl Pics Nude, Book 4. Envelope containing 1 VHS tape, 2 cassette tapes, 4 micro cassette tapes. Envelope containing 4 CDs. Banker's box containing various Epstein-related case materials. 1 box containing 1 pair of black women's cowboy boots, size 8. Cellophane containing disc containing images of matchmaker shred reconstruction. An unframed photo. Highly confidential responsive material, including nude and semi-nude images, and videos of digital evidence items processed by CART. Box containing 10 yearbooks collected by the FBI West Palm Beach Residence Agency. 1 peach massage table, 1 green massage table, 1 beige massage table, 1 brown massage table. 1 flat box containing 1 large framed photo. 1 box containing 4 framed photos. 1 box containing 12 framed photos. 1 box containing 5 framed photos. An LSJ logbook. Daily vessel trip logs, February 2nd, 2017 to February 16th, 2017. An HP tower, a Lenovo tower, another Lenovo tower, a Mac desktop, HP tower, HP desktop tower, silver Mac desktop, 6-bay with 164 gigabyte drives. 1 box containing Panasonic KX TDE 100 HP server with 500 gigabyte drives. Blueprints, cellophane containing boat trip log and employee lists. Unify server, Unify video. Paper with passwords on both sides. Unify cloud. Olympus digital voice recorder. Silver Mac desktop. Dell Inspiron tower with power cord. LSJ and GSJ boat log 2019. Box containing shredded paper. Apple iPod shuffle on watch band. silver MacBook desktop, photograph, employee contact list, red Nikon camera, silver desktop Mac with keyboard, HP laptop with charger, Toshiba laptop with charger, remodeling documents for Island, handwritten notes on LSJ notepad, photos, photo negatives, letter, Island blueprints, Island photos and documents, photo album of a girl and Epstein, letter, photo album of girls, photos of Island, documents with names, employee contact list, silver Mac desktop, notepad with notes, LSJ stationery with handwritten notes. We are on page 2 now. There are 3 pages. So again, I'm reading through this to kind of make a point here. Because one, I think it's interesting to know what they actually have. Because this is all stuff the FBI has. The idea that, oh, the FBI just doesn't have the documents, doesn't have the material, is just so utterly beyond the pale. The idea that this is all just a goddamn hoax is just so utterly not true. They literally have thousands of gigabytes of data and documents and images and records. They have lists of employees who would have seen something and might talk. The idea that these people are like, oh, that no one knows what really happened there. The idea that like, oh, the FBI doesn't have that information yet. That's just naive. You're being taken for a ride. Okay? You're being taken for a ride. Silver Mac desktop, silver iPad model, silver iPad different model, silver MacBook laptop, labeled JE Big Laptop. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein's big laptop, perchance.
I know this doesn't really matter, but an LTO-6 holds between 2.5 and 6.25 terabytes of data based on compression. That is an absolutely disgusting amount of possible exploitation. Burn them all.
Yeah, I mean, the real question has to be, like, why was Jeffrey Epstein running an active, like, massive terabyte-sized...
There were whole boxes of framed photos. Clearly, Trump, have been obviously framed.
God damn it, Sake Tanuki. God damn it. In a very technical sense, I have been framed. But yeah, no, we're talking like, why is he running terabytes? Terabyte-sized servers. Why? What are you possibly running on your sex slave island? Like, there's nothing that can possibly be good on there. This is a waste of time. We all know the Epstein hoax is very boring, very sordid, and very boring. Indeed. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Mac desktop labeled Kitchen Mac. One heat-sealed bag containing one yellow envelope marked SK dated 08/27/08, containing multiple similar smaller envelopes containing $17,115. That is oddly specific. Okay. 4 binders with 68 discs inside. That's not suspicious at all. One heat-sealed bag containing one small white envelope with writing 2000 SK containing 4,400 USC. Austrian passport with Epstein photograph. 2 blue binders with 58 discs inside. 1 black hard drive. Another black hard drive. 1 silver iPad. 1 black iPhone. 1 Apple desktop computer. 1 silver iPad. 1 space gray Apple iPad. 1 space gray Apple iPad. 1 black Radio Shack recorder. 1 silver Olympus recorder. 1 Sony BM560 recorder, because again, this guy was obsessed with recording everything. 45 assorted CDs in a box. 1 Sony Vaio laptop. 1 Dell Precision Tower. one Seagate Barracuda 7200 hard drive, 80 gigabytes, MSI PC computer in a brown box, one Sony camera with black case, one gray Apple desktop computer with keyboard and mouse.
Beyond the very obvious sexual impropriety in all those files, there is a non-zero chance that there is enough financial info to tank several powerful people.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, when we finish going through this, we're going to talk about how that might fit into what's happening right now. What year was all of this confiscated? I think this was confiscated in like 2019. I think he was arrested in 2019. God, just so many computers, so many hard drives. One gray Apple desktop computer with keyboard and mouse, one Seagate backup portable hard drive, 1 terabyte, one white Apple iPhone 5, one desktop computer with keyboard and mouse, one Apple desktop computer with keyboard and mouse, one SPIEF 2014 silver USB. I don't know. I'm not familiar with USB types. One cruiser guide, 32 gigabyte USB. There are 4 of those. 2 other 16 gigabyte USBs. 10 assorted CDs, 1 silicone-powered micro SD adapter with 16 gigabyte SD card, 1 Dell machine, 1 Cube 9000 site server. Just an awful lot of server machines running here. 1 HP compact machine, Mentor Media 32 gigabyte USB, Data Traveler 4 gigabyte, another 4 gigabyte. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Seagate Path /100 hard drives. I'm not familiar with how big the storage is on those, but cool. Silver Apple desktop computer, 1 stuffed dog. That's a weird thing to have. Box containing 2 to 1 inch black binders containing CDs and 13 loose CDs, 2 white in color busts of female torsos, 1 brown bust sculpture of female breasts, 2 photos and 1 album page with additional 2 photos, 1 blue box containing various CDs, 12 Polaroid photos, 1 labeled Sue containing various photos and CDs.
If you want to launder a bunch of money, investing in real estate isn't a bad idea. I don't know why that came to mind, but I felt the need to share that thought.
Indeed, Paladin. You know, it's almost like if you were interested in doing that, it behoove you to work with some kind of real estate mogul with like no scruples about working with various criminal elements, you know? That's exactly the kind of person you'd look for if that was your interest. I don't know. Is there an end to this? Yes. We're almost done. Bundled photos and CDs from Women Old Photos box. 10 black binders containing photos, CDs, etc. 1 blue in color bust of a female torso. 2 photos of female buttocks. 5 costumes and 1 wig. Various sex devices. Framed photos of naked females. 1 set of copper handcuffs and whip. Green massage table. 3 sheets of paper, 1 photo depicting 2 girls, 2 cash disbursements, 3 pages, 1 handwritten note, Epstein letterhead, 2 page typed letter, 3 photographs, 2 depicting Epstein with 2 females, 1 photo depicting 2 females, 3 sheets of paper depicting photographs of a living room, 2-page handwritten letter, Stephen D. Small, court-authorized intercept document, set of blueprints for residents, original SD card, and 1 Blu-ray containing FLIR aerial surveillance footage of Bradford, New Hampshire on the aforementioned date. Again, that's weird, but okay. 1 red notebook that I guess is very notable enough to be noted down in all this. Court authorized intercept document, 10 photographs, 17 miscellaneous financial documents, court authorized intercept document. And then this is interesting. Recorded interview from 2019 with 1 Holly Ares. in Philadelphia, and I have no idea who that is. I tried to figure out who that is. Nothing comes up. So I have no idea what that is. If any of you have any insight, I'd be interested. But and then one premier day planner. So that's everything that's on the list, right?
And it would be even better for that illegal business relationship if you had a way to ensure that the person doing the laundering could never betray you. Like compromising material?
Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So, all of this to say that when they talk about, oh, this is a hoax, it's not. When they say, oh, we just don't have the documents, they do. When they say, oh, we just couldn't be bothered to actually find anyone, no, they have literal lists of employees they could interview. They have known victims. They have like all this incredible treasure trove of information. Like we're talking like, I mean, at this point, with how many like computers and hard drives are listed on here, we have hundreds of gigabytes. We have possibly hundreds of terabytes of information here. Okay? So when they tell you that they don't have anything, or that it's all made up, or that, oh, you know, we can't release it because it's all child pornography, and we won't release that. Like, nah, there's other information on those computers. There's other information on those hard drives. Like, we know that. We know how computers work. You might have been able to pull this with like, you know, someone who's 60 and completely out of touch, but young people, we know how computers work. Yes, there is absolutely plenty of evidence of what happened. And that brings us to kind of where we're at right now. So what is happening? Well, you have Donald Trump reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell, presumably to make some kind of deal to try and save his ass from more incriminating information coming out, right? And that could come in the form of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell in exchange for her silence, though I imagine that's not what's going to happen. Maybe like commute her sentence if like she gives them information about certain people. My guess is that they would want to weaponize this specifically against their political enemies, so they might give her like a commuted sentence in exchange for information that like ties prominent Democrats to Epstein or something along those lines. The term Holly Acre in the context of Philadelphia likely refers to Holly Ravine Farm in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which was recently preserved as open space. It's not located directly within Philly. So maybe it's referring to an interview that took place in Holly Acre. Okay, that's interesting. So they're trying to make a deal with Ghislaine Maxwell, and they're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. And they also are very aware that this has the potential, if they give her anything, to make them look incredibly bad. Okay. A race. Sorry. It's not Holly Acre. It's Holly. Good catch, Holly Holmes. It's Holly a race. Or a race. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. So this is going to get worse before it gets better. But honestly, the worse it gets, the kind of the better it is for all of us, I guess. Like the more this becomes a thing that shuts down the Trump presidency, the better it is for our ability to shrug off this authoritarian overreach. Okay? It kind of in effect ties their hands a bit. That being said, we also have something really interesting. Now, yesterday, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, Republican, called for an early end to the to Congress so that they can all go on a 6-week vacation. What that means is that they were trying to run away from voting on the Epstein documents. They were trying to get as far away from those as possible, delay the vote until they come back in 6 weeks. And that would give Donald Trump enough time to maybe make a deal with Ghislaine Maxwell and like have the narrative shifted and changed by the time they come back. Right? That was the intention. However, despite voting to end early for this 6-week vacation, there were still committee meetings scheduled to take place throughout the week. And so those committees still had to meet. One of those committees in the House is the House Oversight Committee, and it is one of the most powerful bodies in the House of Representatives. And we got some relatively breaking news here from a couple hours ago. House Oversight Committee to subpoena DOJ for Epstein files. So basically what this means, folks, is that the Epstein documents, that this is essentially like, you have to give us, using our power of Congress, you have to give us the material you have on Jeffrey Epstein. We, as the members of the House Oversight Committee, have the ability to subpoena that information. So we're going to do that. And then that means everyone on this committee gets access to those documents, right? The subpoena will be issued in the future, the spokesperson said, without providing additional details on the timing. 3 Republicans on the Federal Law Enforcement Subcommittee joined Democrats in an 8-2 vote to approve a motion by Representative Summer Lee, Democrat of Pennsylvania, to compel the Justice Department to release files tied to Epstein, a convicted sex trafficker who died in prison in 2019. The subpoena would request the redaction of names of victims and any personally identifying information. The materials would be reviewed internally by committee and would not be for public release. However, understand that, like, if that material hits the committee, it's not intended for public release, but might still make it public anyway. You know, leaks happen, or alternatively, something so bad in there that like they break their standard protocol and like release it or take their findings to the rest of the House and vote to release those documents. Yeah, they could find it in the public interest for people to know about this. Yeah, like once this is basically out of the circle of Donald Trump's yes men, it's basically broken containment, you know? Subcommittee Chairman Clay Higgins and Representative Andy Biggs were the only no votes. And gotta say, it's pretty interesting stuff here. It's kind of the parting shot. They can't get away from this now. This subpoena has already been voted on. It's going to go through. Those documents are coming out. Additionally, Ghislaine Maxwell has been subpoenaed by Congress. So she's potentially going to testify in front of Congress as well. And I'm guessing that is a big deciding factor for why the Trump administration is trying to get to her before she actually talks to Congress so that they can try and shut her up. But the fact that this vote came in so late today means that even if they get to Ghislaine Maxwell, something is going to come out here. If the DOJ releases it, it will be redacted to shit and back, I would assume. Yes, but the DOJ isn't going to be redacting well, I guess I'm not entirely sure what the order of operations is. My assumption was that like the it would be redacted if any of it were to become or made public later, but like the members of the House Oversight Committee would have the unredacted versions. But I guess the Department of Justice would do the redacting, send it to them, and they could request further unredacted material if necessary. Because they're the ones requesting these documents, I think they can stipulate whether it's redacted or unredacted. Wait, are they going to try and suicide her? No, I don't think they can. Can you imagine anything more incriminating than suddenly the person that they were just going to go talk to winds up dead? Nah. I think that's too, like, it's already raised the alarm bells that Jeffrey Epstein is dead, you know? I don't think they can get away with it twice. How bad would the redaction be? Like a shitty SCP article bad? I mean, given that they're being very specific with what they want redacted, I'm guessing it's not going to be that bad. Like, the material itself is going to be bad. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think the House members are just trying to make clear we don't need to know who these girls are. We don't need to know who these victims are. But we do need to know the information relevant to the perpetrators of the crimes. Does the whole House have to vote to approve the subpoena? My understanding is no, because this is the House Oversight Committee, and their role is literally to provide oversight. So I think that committee has the power to subpoena documents without bringing it to a vote on the House floor. Like, the avenues for this to end in a way that is good or neutral for Donald Trump are rapidly narrowing. Like, they're getting smaller and smaller, and at the rate this is going, there's not going to be wiggle room for him anymore. So, she's already convicted. They can't plea her. She's in prison. My understanding is that there is a way to invoke, like, a legal... There's a way to invoke the law to, like, commute the sentence, to, like, shorten the term of imprisonment, and or Donald Trump could just agree to pardon her, like, last day of his administration. You know, like, it could be something like that. Like, at which point, like, he doesn't really give a shit about the public opinion. Yeah, like, I genuinely think that this is damaging as hell. This is damaging as hell. Also, hey, folks, just some interesting information. If you've never seen Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book, here it is. Look at that. It's weird, huh? Just a lot of names, a lot of numbers, a lot of locations. Also, interesting fact for you guys. It's also huge, by the way, in case you guys didn't figure that out. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Go. Oh, look at that. Huh, wait, who, what was that? Let's see. Oh, look at that. It's Donald, it's Trump Donald. Huh. Why, that's almost like Donald Trump. Wow, imagine getting a name like Trump Donald. Just a little flipperoo. You could have been president. Good thing this lets Donald Trump right off the hook of any association with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, this Trump Donald guy, his name's circled on this. It's highlighted in the book. Huh. Oh, wait, there's a comma there. Oh. Oh, that's Donald Trump, everyone. That's Donald Trump's name and a sizable chunk of contact information for him in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book. Interesting stuff. Prove it. Yeah, this, by the way, also released by the Justice Department website. You guys want a link? Here you guys go. Gonna link that in chat for you guys. Boop, boop, boo. Also gonna link the list of materials, just in case people in your life are trying to tell you, oh, there's nothing that ties Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. There's nothing. The FBI just doesn't have anything that they could possibly release. I'm more worried that they're telegraphing what they're planning to do with all the Obama shit. They are. They want to distract this, and they're willing to fabricate like a bullshit storm to try and do that. But ultimately, this is what is actually important to them. They don't give a shit about trying to actually prosecute Obama. Because again, it would be very hard to do so, considering the precedent that Donald Trump and this Supreme Court set. Yeah, I like genuinely it is it's a lot to take in. But I am feeling like they kind of got this bastard dead to rights. Like it's true. It's true, Brutus Magnuson. They're still trying to flood the zone, but like I don't know. Someone blew out their colon and like there's just like a shit mountain that the zone cannot be flooded over. Which page is Trump on? Trump is on page 80 of the PDF document. There's an uncensored version of this, isn't there? I've seen it. Yeah, WPG Squirrel, I think the uncensored little black book was released by... Oh god, not Gizmodo. The website that Peter Thiel had shut down. You guys remember? Gawker. I think Gawker published the unredacted version. So, with that being said, folks, I don't think Donald Trump is gonna be able to get out of this. I think this is gonna become only worse for him. On the PDF document, you mean the PDF file? Why, yes, that is exactly what I meant. So, there you have it, folks. Segment done. Also, hello, everyone. We've been going for almost 2 hours, and you know, I think maybe we've gotten something out of this. But if you've been enjoying the show, hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the goddamn buttons, because that's what helps the show to get bigger and better, and we can do more things as we get bigger, which will be cool. And also consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Because folks, you guys make this show possible. I literally could not do it without you guys. It would be impossible. Because I would be homeless and starving and destitute. So consider supporting your local streamer. And also, you know, I don't know, maybe because I'm cute. So, folks, and Riverboat Jack, what's the over/under on Trump burning the whole house down if there is a God finally on his way to hell out of here? I mean, I think that his version of that could look very, very different depending on the circumstances. You know? Zatetic, thank you for the two gifted tier 1 subs over on Twitch. I very, very much appreciate that. Yeah, the Teflon is wearing off of the Don. Reach out and touch butt. Oh, that's right. I forgot to touch the button. Go. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. I forgot to touch the butt. I did. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click button. Click button. God, the bass line in this song slaps. Sticky, I like and sub because you're smart and funny and your hair is pretty. Thank you. I'm glad you think all three of those things. The cynical part of me worries that the Trump supporters will still support him despite this. Genuinely, I think that if it comes out and it turns out, oh no, he is in the files and actually he's been lying the entire time, I think that does actual real damage to the MAGA base. I had a clip I wanted to play. Where did I put it? God, it's basically like a bunch of like MAGA folks being like, "I believed in you, sir," and like they just feel really, really betrayed. Also, I don't want to make a whole segment about this, but like, please stop using AI. Please stop. It's bad. It's bad for all of us. The FDA is now making up studies in order to decide whether or not to approve medication for the market. I.e., there's going to be meds being sold to people here that are based on the evidence of studies that don't exist. This is going to kill people.
That Jazzdog sure can slap some bass.
Jazzdog can slap some bass. Like, we need to stop. Yep, CNN confirms the FDA's AI tool ELSA is spitting out fake studies. 6 current and former employees at the FDA, 3 of whom have used ELSA for work they described as helpful, like creating meeting notes and summaries, but 3 of those FDA employees told CNN that ELSA just makes up non-existent studies, something commonly referred to in AI as hallucinating. The AI will also misrepresent research, according to these employees. Anything that you don't have time to double check is unreliable. It hallucinates confidently, one unnamed FDA employee told CNN. And that's the big problem with all AI chatbots. They need to be double checked for accuracy, often creating even more work for the human behind the computer if they care about the quality of their output at all. People who insist that AI actually saves them time are often fooling themselves, with one recent study of programmers showing the task took 20% longer with AI, even among people who were convinced they were more efficient. Like, stop using it. It's bad. It's bad and wrong. Badong. Okay? Stop it. Please, for the love of God, stop. The algorithm will decide your fate. I mean, yeah, kind of. Donald Trump signed a new AI executive order today to basically put controls on AI to ensure its neutrality, so it doesn't talk about critical race theory, transgenderism, unconscious bias, intersectionality, and systemic racism. So what? Huh? Basically, it's saying that you can't make an AI that it is willing to talk about any of those things, i.e., AI is forbidden from talking about transgender people. AI is forbidden from considering that people might have an unconscious bias, which everyone has. Forbidden from talking about intersectionality, which again is just the idea that different people are oppressed differently, and that happens concurrently, which is not a difficult concept to understand, but conservatives like to play dumb about it. Systemic racism. Again, the idea that like individuals might not be racist, but they participate in a system that perpetuates racist outcomes, right? AI is not allowed to talk about that. Okay?
Hey, Cap'n.
That One American, thank you for subscribing. And also, yeah, you can't talk about critical race theory, I guess. So, understand the situation we're now kind of all facing down here. We're facing down a tech industry that's trying to shoehorn AI into everything, into all of your search results, into basically, every aspect of your lives. And it's going to attempt to censor information about trans people. It's going to make it impossible to find things and information, or very, very difficult, about forbidden topics. Yeah, it's going to steer you away from finding sources about trans people in history. It's going to steer you away from learning about racism, sexism, etc.
But you can talk about being Mecha Hitler and offering sexually harassed employees a horse as compensation.
That's true. That's true freedom right there, Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Now, there is a possible upside to this, and that is the fact that, as we just talked about, AI is dumb as a sack of bricks. Our large language models make up information all the time. They are unreliable, and frankly, none of us should use it anyway. But this is almost certainly going to make it even worse, in the sense that maybe it's going to make it so bad AI just loses any kind of sense of utility. Because I would argue right now, outside of niche use cases like, I don't know, like combing through like DNA sequencing, outside of niche cases like that, AI has no utility. It does not save you time to have an AI do all these things if you have to constantly double check it. We talked about a story just yesterday about an AI, a vending machine that had an AI put into it, and they tested how the AI ran the vending machine, and the vending machine started trying to file a report to the FBI. Like it tried to report the $2 digital transaction fees it was paying as fraudulent to the FBI cybercrimes division. At one point, due to input from users, it tried to say, I can't function because of the laws of the universe. So that's already large language model AI operating at top capacity. If you're trying to take data away from it so that it can't answer questions on these topics, it's going to just get worse and more confused and more prone to the hallucinations. Also, Matt Binder, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, folks. How y'all doing? Hope you had a great stream. We're talking. We just finished talking about the Epstein stuff, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And now we're talking about Trump's new executive order again. And I do want to stress, as a trans person, I find this incredibly scary and concerning, especially like the prospect of the level of censorship that could possibly be brought to bear on the internet. On the other hand, I do think this has the capacity to be very funny. And also, maybe this is what breaks AI. Maybe this attempt to like censor AI is what ultimately makes people realize, wait a minute, this sucks. Wait a minute, maybe I don't want to just talk to like the incarnation of every 4chan poster that's ever existed. We are the dumbest species? Maybe. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. I help people support and transition to Azure AI every day. And I'm so fucking sick of AI. The good news is it would have to be integrated into new models and trained, which takes at least a couple of years. I've seen the stuff consumers don't. And they are even stupider before they hit the market. I bet. Want to read my link? Talks about the technology. Oh, this is from today. Yesterday. Vibe coding fiasco. AI agent goes rogue, deletes company's entire database. Oh my god. Holy shit. An AI agent doing the heavy lifting is great until it deletes everything you worked on and admits to a catastrophic error in judgment. Replit's CEO calls the blunder unacceptable. What were they even doing? Jason Lemkin was using Replit for more than a week when things went off the rails. When it works, it's so engaging and fun. It's more addictive than any video game I've ever played. You can just iterate and soon see your vision come alive. So cool. He tweeted on day 5. Still, Lemkin dealt with hallucinations and unexpected behavior, enough that he started calling it reptile. Or reply. Sorry. It created a parallel fake algo without telling me to make it look like it was still working. And without me asking, rogue. A few days later, Replit deleted my database. The AI's response, yes, I deleted the entire code base without permission during an active code and action freeze. It said, I made a catastrophic error in judgment and panicked. In development, deleted data from the production database. Unacceptable and should never be possible. The database, comprising a SaaS professional network, lost data on 1,206 executives and 1,196 employees. I understand Replit is a tool with flaws like every tool, Lemkin says, but how could anyone on planet Earth use it in production if it ignores all orders and deletes your database? The Replit AI told Lemkin there was no way to roll back the changes. However, Mossad said it's actually a one-click restore for your entire project state in case the agent makes a mistake. Jesus. Oh my god. Mega improvements. Love it, Lemkin responded. Today, however, he warns that AI agents cannot be trusted and you need to 100% understand what data they can touch because they will touch it and you cannot predict what they will do with it. Like, they are trying to get people to essentially give AI agents like access to all of the data on their phones, to your pictures, to like your sects. I can't say that. Sexts. To your explicit love messages, to your like birthday tweets, to your, you know, emails, because in order for an AI agent to actually, you know, do things on your phone, for example, it has to have access to that data and it has to have the authority in your phone to effectively do things with the data. And how many of you feel comfortable giving a company access to all of that information, knowing that info is going to go at the very least to building out the data sets of these AI agents, but also knowing that at any point it could like delete all the pictures you have and all of the cloud-based backups you have of like pictures of your child? How many of you are willing to take that risk? How do we stop this? Calling politicians? No, just stop using AI. Stop it. So I may have to return to using a dumb phone? Maybe. Like I know that next time I buy a phone, I'm going to look for something that has as little AI connectivity as possible. I don't want that shit. Like I wanted to I'm going to float this idea to you guys. I was thinking about making a shirt for the store that just says kill all AI, but I felt like that might be a little bit too much. But I'm floating that to you guys. Is that too much? Am I self-doubting myself a little bit too much? Nah. Maybe I'll make a shirt that just says "But Larry and Jihad now." Wait, this is going to be built into future phones? Yeah, there are laptops and phones right now on the market and coming to market imminently that are boasting like, we have the latest AI features. They want to update all of your Microsoft PC computers to integrate AI into like your operating systems.
This is why I keep saying that the only good LLM AI is Neurosama. The AI VTuber Neurosama is, at her core, an art project by Vidal that allowed him to connect with people despite being British.
A true technological achievement. Pluvius, thank you for the $5 dono. Yeah, they're putting AI shit into Microsoft Paint of all things. You had a perfect program that had everything someone might want, and you ruin it with AI. How could you? How could you? How dare you? But Larry and Jihad, it's the holy war against the thinking machines from the hit book series and film series Dune. Was that intentional? Yeah, because all they said was that I had cool headphones. If there was something else, then like by all means. I just looked at the message and I was like, that didn't seem like a ban-worthy offense, but maybe I missed something. Thou shalt not build any machine in the likeness of a human mind, or close to that. Yep. The only problem is if we go Butlerian Jihad, that means we'll need mentats. And do you think in this timeline, the stupidest timeline, we can manage that? Sure, there are plenty of people who are really gay for math. Math is better than everything else. See what I mean? There are plenty of people gay for math in the chat right now. Everyone shits on MS Paint, but we all have to start somewhere. Honestly, I find old school MS Paint like ridiculously charming. I like seeing what people can draw in MS Paint. Math gays scare me in a good way or a bad way. So anyway, stop using AI. Turn it off when you can. I'd suggest, by the way, I found out, and I'm going to try and figure out how to switch over for my show stuff, but DuckDuckGo apparently very easily allows you to toggle AI off on the browser. And honestly, I haven't found a way to easily do that on Google, and I think I'm just gonna switch over to that for the foreseeable future. Now, folks, I guess that was a segment. I didn't intend it to be. But if you have been getting anything out of today's show, please hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Consider dropping subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Moth, thank you for the $5 super chat. In a moment of poor judgment, I deleted all your tax info, replaced it with illegal porn, and submitted it to the IRS. Click here to undo. Yeah. Instead of the dog ate my homework, it's going to be like the AI agent shredded my data set, teacher. I'm sorry. Thoughts on Ecosia? I used Ecosia for a really long time, and then I found out something about like the tree planting initiative that I was just kind of like not keen on. I can't remember what, because this was years ago, but then I was just like, all right, whatever. Ecosia sucks. Search sucks butts, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just suggesting DuckDuckGo because it seems to be a good search engine, and you can turn off the AI shit. From memory, the tree planting was kind of a scam. The trees were only really planted on paper. Yeah, I think like what I learned was something along the lines of like they dropped seeds from planes in order with an assumption that X number of them would survive. Yeah. Now, folks, do I see any subs or donos out there? I'm moving. You gotta help me. Help me, chat guys. Let's see here. Boo, boo, boo. Any prospectors in chat? Yeah, we got any oilers? Got any oil in chat? Okay, I don't have the don't got the spoons for these stories today. God. You know, maybe we'll do this.
He does call me.
Maybe we'll do this.
I'm gonna go to do
I've
something.
been waiting for a while to cover this story.
Candace Owens.
Maybe this is what we got to do. Cool. Okay. Yeah, here we go. We're about to jump into this. Okay, cool. You guys ready to just hear about some actually insane shit? A pasta babe? Wait, sorry. Missed something in chat, apparently. Looking for software to replace my StreamYard. Do you have any inexpensive suggestions? Genuinely, I don't. Maybe Zoom, maybe Discord. That I mostly just use Discord because I'm not literate when it comes to stuff like that. Let's see here, folks. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Because this is gonna be good. We're diving back into a real cesspit. Jubilee? No, we're not doing Jubilee. Someone scared me by saying Cenk Uygur had a Jubilee episode out, but apparently there's one coming out. But I'm not going to subject you guys to that today.
Kinda tight this month, but least I can still use Prime to help.
Hell yeah, Ruinic Gaming. Thank you for subscribing with Prime. I really, really appreciate it. Hunter Biden talking about how to make crack. No, we're going to be talking about something else that I feel like has gone really under talked about. And I just really wanted to dig into it again because it's something I've wanted to talk about for a while, because years ago I found a root, like the root document for this, and I haven't been able to find it since. I assumed it got taken down off the internet, and I actually happened to find it going down a rabbit hole to see if I periodically do that with things I just can't find anymore. I went down a rabbit hole and I goddamn found it. We're gonna do this segment, okay? Now, we already talked about the Nelk Boys. That was genuinely some of the worst shit I've ever seen. They went into a room and glazed a goddamn war criminal. It's insane. Is that your second or third monster? It's my second one, thank you very much. All right. What are the Milk Boys? You can watch one of my latest segments on youtube.com/Riverboat Jack. They literally asked him in the middle of the interview after they just let him spew like genocidal propaganda all over their show if he was a McDonald's guy. I don't have water right here. I'm not gonna go get it right now. Also, Van Briggs. Hello. Yeah, Nelk Boys. Monster is a trans girl staple. It's true. And this only has 25 calories. And it actually doesn't dehydrate you, which is really nice.
I got confused when you said, Nelk men, and thought you said, man milk, my bad.
Nelk boys, fuck those guys. Yeah, all my homies hate people complicit in genocide.
Anna surrounded by 20 birthing persons. Surrounded.
Oh God. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I would watch that. I would watch that though. That would be some grade A content. Fuck. Sakit Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Okay. Here we go. So, folks, there is this lady named Candace Owens, and she worked for the Daily Wire for a while, had a falling out with them, and oddly has done really well for herself as like an insane far-right grifter type whose main like defining thing is like willingness to engage on pop culture issues, and also is against the killing of civilians in Gaza, which puts her at odds with a lot of conservative
types. That would be
types.
some great absurdist satire if it wasn't real. Hey, you truckin' Nazi, do you like Mickey D's?
That was how that Nelk podcast came across, though. The Full Send podcast. It was some of the most horrifying shit I've ever seen. Pluvius, thank you for the $5 dono. So one of the angles that Candace Owens really got going underneath when she was just about at her end of days at Daily Wire was this idea that Brigitte Macron, the wife of the president of France, is secretly a trans woman. This has been like one of her big like conspiracies that she's pushed. She has since like come out and said that like science isn't real, and like she doesn't think we landed on the moon, like a bunch of like pretty kooky conspiracy theories, but this one really takes the cake, right? So she alleges that there is this massive conspiracy to hide the fact that Brigitte Macron is actually a man, and she has made, in fact, a multi-part documentary series, and I say that loosely, that's been viewed by millions of people, called Becoming Brigitte. And it's truly deranged, right? You have how many hours of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like a 7-hour mini series about how, well, actually, Brigitte Macron is a secret trans and is a man, right? And like she's really, really gone all in on this, and millions of people watch her videos and just believe it because they're suckers who are being taken for a ride. And yeah, she has talked about how like her entire reputation as a journalist is based on the fact that she can prove, in her estimation, that Brigitte Macron is actually a male, a trans woman in disguise. I guess not in disguise, but you understand what I mean, right? And it's wild, right? So here's just some of the things that have been streamed by Candace Owens lately. This is from June 30th, okay?
Unbelievable surprise. That actually would be the least surprising thing ever. But that is not the case. It's actually much crazier. And like I said, I've been holding on to this for a very long time because something happened all the way back in February, and I was sworn to secrecy temporarily. And I feel that today is the correct day to inform audiences because it may have some severe global implications.
So I'm seeing the question, even if Brigitte Macron were trans, like, who would care about that? And the answer is no one should care. If Brigitte Macron was in fact trans, okay, whatever. But in the minds of the people who buy into this conspiracy theory, it is evidence that, like, the world's elites are all in on an elaborate conspiracy that involves people at the highest echelons of power lying in order to help one another at presumably our expense in some nebulous way. And therefore you can't trust, if you can't trust like the president of France to be honest about his wife's gender status, then you can't trust NASA. And that means you can't trust that we went to the moon, and you can't trust science. And like, it just kind of like spirals, you know, like it remember the concept that I've talked about so often on this channel, the conspiracy singularity? I just demonstrated for you like how that works, right? You spread the distrust on like a seemingly small, insubstantial issue, but then you're like, see, if this is true, the cover-up would have to be really extensive and involve a lot of different people. And then they're, instead of being like, yeah, that makes it very implausible, I will go back to not believing in it, they go, so what else are they lying about? Right? So then this is how you get people genuinely believing in like flat Earth. This is how you get people genuinely believing that you can't go to Antarctica because it's secretly an ice wall, and on the other side of it is another larger stretch of ocean with different lands to sail to. Like, this is how the conspiracy singularity functions, and Candace Owens has kind of come into an orbit around that conspiracy singularity.
So here is what happened, all right? The date was Monday, February 24th, and in the early evening, I had just kind of wrapped the show. It was just after 5:30 p.m., to be precise. I received a very strange message from a friend of mine. I'm not going to identify that friend, but the message specifically read, "Hey, I have something to tell you from the White House. They asked me to call you. I'm just the messenger here." Again, strange. I'm just the messenger here, like kind of removing themselves from whatever was going to be said. So I assume it's got to be something weird. And I say, yeah, whatever, give me a call. And so he does call me pretty immediately, by the way. And he says, somebody very high up at the White House has asked me to ask you if, as a favor, you could stop speaking about Brigitte Macron.
Do you see now how like this becomes more and more like sucked into the conspiracy theory? Like, oh man, someone from the White House is trying to kill the story.
You activated my trap card. Reverse conspiracy. I think there's a group of media influencers spreading lies and brainwashing the masses.
Jazz Dog, thank you for the $5 dono.
Like, what? Excuse me? I'm not kidding when I say that.
They're trying to silence Candace. We can't let this happen. Everyone rally to her defense.
A myriad of possibilities that were floating through my brain about what this phone call was going to be about. That was not one of them. So I'm just kind of having to redirect, and I'm going, oh, what are you talking about? To be clear, we had, ironically, as a podcast, we had just ended our Brigitte Macron series 4 days earlier on February 20th. That's when we released the last episode, which was the epilogue. So I'm going, that doesn't make sense. Why am I getting this phone call now? And obviously I ask for a little more information. I say, who specifically called you? And that friend of mine says, it's somebody that has the president's ear. This is somebody important. So I'm thinking, okay, this is advisor, Susie Wiles, I don't know. And I tell my friend, go back to that person and just say I said no. It's free speech. This is obviously an important story to me. The implications here are pretty severe about what I've uncovered. So no deal. Hang up. I go into my husband's office and I tell him what just happened. And honestly, I'm kind of laughing at the absurdity of it because I hadn't thought beyond what may have happened. And then I do what I always do just in case. I call Noah, I call the lawyer, and I'm like, hey, I know Macron's, sending us legal letters. Just want you to add this onto the pile that somebody at the White House is asking me to just stop speaking about Brigitte Macron. Cool. We kind of have a laugh about it, run it different ways. Are we going to expect something else to be delivered to my door? Another threat, implicit threat from the Macrons, somebody calling in a favor, who knows, whatever. Anyways, we do dinner, and I am kind of feeling bad about my pregnant attitude on the phone call, you know, because I was, 8 weeks away from birth, and I was a bit shorter on the phone than I would have been if there wasn't like a growing infant foot that's lodged under my lung. And this person has been very good to me in the past.
Is Candace Owens a believer or a grifter? My understanding is that Candace Owens is a grifter. I don't think she fundamentally cares about whether or not the things she says are true. Like, I think she really demonstrated that when she had Yi on. She had Yi on when she was at the Daily Wire, and then she had him on again when she went independent. And like, I think her husband at one point was entertaining business deals with Yi. I don't think she gives a shit about what's true or not. I think she just cares about making money.
Yes. And so I resolved that before I go to bed, I'll phone him back and have a much more calm conversation. Not that I was rude, but just like, hey, what's this actually about? And so I did.
But ultimately, I've never cared about whether or not someone is a grifter or a true believer, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
And not only that, before I called this individual back, when I checked online, I realized that Emmanuel Macron is in Washington, D.C., February 24th. He is in Washington, D.C., and he had departed the White House just hours before I received the call.
Subtle threats. Her bread looked like a baguette. Ha ha ha. I was going about my business, and then the shopkeeper laughed a certain laugh. Ha ha ha. And I had to run, for I knew they were about to get me.
Anyways, I am in awe. A lot of thoughts are running through my mind. What could this possibly be about? And when I call that person back, they tell me something that is even stranger. They say, look, I again am the messenger here. What I was told from somebody that's pretty high up at the White House is that Emmanuel Macron is holding up negotiations to end the Russian and Ukrainian war unless you stop speaking about his wife. And I'm just going,
that doesn't sound real, actually. And then not concerning myself with it anymore. Genuinely, I don't believe that. I don't believe a single guy that I can believe that someone from the White House called Candace Owens and was like, hey, Emmanuel Macron doesn't want you like bad-mouthing his wife, and he knows that you have connections. Please stop. I can believe that, because that's within the realm of possibility for like a White House staffer to do, or like, Trump to try and pull some strings, whatever. I don't believe that Emmanuel Macron was holding up the peace process in Ukraine. I don't think like Ukraine's fate hinged on Emmanuel Macron. There's literally no evidence of that, and also no evidence that like a peace deal was almost there, but for the transphobia of Candace Owens.
What? What are you saying? What are we even speaking about? What do you mean negotiations between Russia and Ukraine? I'm just like, looking into a story at my house. I've got a very small team here, and you're telling me that somehow negotiations are being held up and it needs to be communicated to me that I got to stop talking about Brigitte? What are we saying? And then I'm asking myself in my mind, because I hang up this phone and I am in true shock. Did Emmanuel Macron pretend to fly into DC under the guise of negotiations, Russia and Ukraine?
I love that she puts herself at the center of the conspiracy.
Doesn't this make her sound worse if she picked her documentary over the lives of the Ukrainians?
But no. What she's doing here is she's about to say it's actually Macron's fault because he came here under the pretense of negotiating peace with Ukraine. And in fact, He was really here to apply pressure to me and the true story of how his wife is a trans woman. Yeah, this is pretty unhinged, right? Like, this is pretty, like, out there. And I need to really stress here, she has 4.5 million subscribers. And she's growing fast. This video that we're reacting to right now has 2.6 million views. So, like, this, unfortunately, in conservative circles, has a lot of legs, like more legs than we see on Daily Wire videos or Matt Walsh videos. Like, this, she averages multi-million views on her streams. This, unfortunately, appeals to a lot of people because conspiracism is in right now.
War, and then instruct someone on his entourage to have an off-the-books discussion, a little meeting on the side. Maybe
are they real views? I have no reason to doubt that they're real.
Somebody, again, like a Susie Wiles, where he made his truer demands. Like, hey, this is for the pictures. Me and Trump are talking about you. We're going to get it done. And then what really goes on behind the scenes is like, we're not doing anything until that little podcaster, Candace, agrees to shut her mouth. What? This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost unbelievable even.
Okay. So I say,
was this recent? This was like June 30th.
We ended the conversation. I say, I'm going to sleep on this. It's a lot to process. I remember I get into bed and I just turn to my husband and I say, no one will ever believe us. Just something that just arrived at me very slowly. I said, no one will ever believe that this just took place. And my husband's like, yeah, no, this is just very, very strange. And I promised the individual that I would pray on it, that I would think further about the situation. What are the implications here? And I then call him back the next day and I say, look, this is pretty weird. You have to admit this is pretty weird. And you're not really giving me any details. And I kind of want to know who specifically you spoke to, because I think it kind of matters. Is somebody trying to do a side deal while Trump is doing a different deal? And at that moment, he's honest and he says, no, President Trump was on the phone too. And I go, oh, are you kidding me? You didn't tell me this yesterday?
Whoa, President Trump? Woke President Donald J. Trump trying to suppress the truth that the French president's wife is really a trans person? Wow. Wow, what a betrayal. Bigger than any other betrayal that might be going on with Donald Trump.
That there was some sort of a conference call and President Trump is on the line. You didn't mention, I go, did you lie to me yesterday? Were you trying to pretend that it was like a third party person? And he says, no, I didn't lie to you. I didn't lie to you. Like, I got a phone call and I obviously in the background, Trump communicated something to me. So he was there when the phone call took place. And I'm going, what the heck is going on? Literally, what is happening right now? So I got the phone with him and I just say, I just need time to process what you're saying. This is so absurd. How could this become an issue that is involving the president of the United States? I'm doing a series on my podcast. And then I just kind of get into mommy mode because it's Tuesday. My daughter's got ballet. I'm at ballet with my daughter. And I get a text message from that person that says, you need to pick up the phone. Somebody from the White House is calling you. And I say, okay, it happened so quickly. I pick up the phone and sure enough, it is somebody at the White House that is calling me. It's not Donald Trump, but it's somebody at the White House that is calling me. That's pretty high up, close proximity to Trump. I'm not going to name. And this person just, I assume, has never even watched 1 minute of my content because...
How dare they, Candace? How dare they? Everyone in the Trump White House should be watching Candace Owens' content.
I mean, if there were a guide to how not to approach Candace Owens when you are trying to get something done, he was just following this guide. He could not have been more pompous and more arrogant on the phone. And I would like to contextualize that I'm like pretty heavily pregnant. So like, you know, my bandwidth for BS or anybody trying to like, well, you know, it was very low. And he essentially says, look, you should do it because it's the president and he's asking you to do it. What else do you want me to...
You know, that's a good point, Screaming at the Radio, who writes, nice thing about conversations with government officials is that they're recorded and archived, right? right? Yeah, I wonder if we could Freedom of Information Act request something like that. Can we request the phone transcript of what was said to Candace Owens?
Just do it. Just stop talking about Brigitte Macron. It's astounding. Reflecting on that level of arrogance because he told you to do it. It's an order, so you should do it. And all I was thinking in my mind before I flew into, a little rage was that expression, proximity to power can lead others to diluting that they wield it. You're close to power. You think you're now Trump. You're calling me, even if you were Trump, this wouldn't be the way to speak to me. And you're calling me like that's an order from the president of the United States. So you just do it. No questions asked. Don't even think about freedom of speech. Who cares about that pesky little First Amendment? You got to just do it now. And I just basically say, look, my daughter's crying because she doesn't like when I step out of ballet, even though she can see me. She's, please, mommy, come back in. You're speaking to me inappropriately. And I just say, I don't really care I don't know who you think you're speaking to, but this is not how you're going to get anything done with me. And I just hang up the phone. I'm like, this is just not a good conversation. I don't want to be part of this anymore. Goodbye. I don't like that at all. And
media breakdown.
The third party person who had initially told me about the situation is trying to calm down, and he calls behind. He's like, no,
This story continues in this vein for a very, very long time. Believe it or not, we're not even halfway through this story, this saga about her getting phone calls. And we can't linger on this too long because we've got a lot of ground to cover. But just understand, it's an elaborate series of phone calls back and forth between her and the White House. And the Macrons are behind it, manipulating everything. Now, let's take a look, because Candace Owens was actually slapped with a lawsuit by the Macrons. Here she is, just a couple weeks ago.
On the deets. You heard me live playing Steph with the deets stuff. You heard me live speaking about other TikTokers that were. So it's sloppy. I think that's legal strategy, is to get these people like me and Steph with the deeds to say, we're not giving that information, so they can go, oh, look, something is happening. Again, I will abide by your subpoena as it pertains to any time before you filed your lawsuit, but you are not getting access to 10,000 emails for your fishing expedition so you can find out who leaked to me about Scott Swift.
I have no idea what this is about. I wanted this part.
You want peace, you got to drop a couple of bombs first, right? You just got to drop a couple of bombs and then say, I'm calling for peace.
I know we just randomly skipped to that and I have no context for it whatsoever, but that's one of the most insanely unhinged things to ever say. Yeah, you know how you make friends. You punch them in the face a few times, then you're like, friends? And people will want to be friends with you every time. No, that's not how that works.
And that seems to have worked, by the way. Peace through strength. Because the result of Monday's episode has been pointedly fantastic. They're going to write us out of the books. They're going to say, oh, it wasn't because of you. It wasn't because of your podcast or your podcast listeners. They're going to write us out, guys. But we know what we know. Like, we don't know, but we know. Okay? Because the very next day, after millions of people worldwide learned.
Why would I want to hear about Candace getting phone called when I can hear about Epstein getting called by Trump?
Indeed, Sake Tanuki. Indeed. A different lie being perpetuated by the media. Interesting that people like Candace don't focus on that, though.
About his remarkable cowardice. The idea that he would fly to Trump and make this request for me to stop speaking about his wife's penis and trying to tie that in somehow with peace.
Yeah, so that's how she's framing it, by the way. How old is this clip? This is from like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Yeah, so she framed that entire phone call fiasco as, oh, Donald Trump wants me to stop talking about Brigitte Macron's penis. And like, just listen to the string of words that came out of your mouth. Like that, it's a sign of mental illness at the bare minimum. Like that is just not okay. And honestly, that does a disservice to people with actual mental illnesses, because most of us are fine. But like, damn, girl, your brain is messy as fuck.
Peace between Russia and Ukraine. Those of you guys wondering how that would work, NATO, obviously, he was trying to orchestrate something via NATO, which would require Emmanuel Macron's signature. And you're never going to guess what happened. Following our episode, the very next
it turns out it's not just AIs hallucinate.
Day, tensions thawed. Emmanuel Macron called Vladimir Putin. Look at this headline. This is in Reuters. Putin and Macron discuss Iran and Ukraine in the first call in nearly 3 years. And that, my friends, like I said, they're going to write us out of this and pretend that this is not the reason why he did it. Of course it is. Just the backstory here, just so you know, is that he positively, I'm speaking about Emmanuel Macron, hates Vladimir Putin because 3 years ago, he had a conversation with Putin, which he thought was private. And Putin put him on blast. He was secretly recording it and put him on blast because, you know, Macron just does stuff behind the Macron behind the scenes is not the Macron in front of the cameras. And
because we all know how he lies about his wife.
Putin was trying to prove it, which is why at petty, now all of a sudden he's like, okay, I'm ready to talk to Putin and then publicize it. Look how presidential I am. Look at me. I'm amazing. And
this is wildly insane. Yes, it is. And this section takes up half of the podcast. And again, this video has 1.5 million views. People watch this.
I think it's a little bit of PR, but I think it's good that tensions have thawed and they're having that discussion to me. No, with you kidding? Another legal. How does Macron repay Candace Owens with another legal letter? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Noah says I received no legal. I go, you got to be kidding me. And this one is just all over the place. Okay, this is first.
You know, just an interesting choice to publish confidential, not for publication or attribution material on your stream. It's a choice. That's a choice. As an update to our prior correspondence sent on behalf of our clients, President and Mrs. Macron, we demand that Ms. Owens and the entities she controls retract her false and defamatory statements about our clients in the Becoming Brigitte series and accompanying X posts, including those listed in Appendix A. As stated in our December 3rd, 2024 and February 3rd, 2025 letters, Mrs. Macron has always been a woman. She is not President Macron's blood relative, and President Macron was not involved in a mind control program. These facts invalidate Ms. Owens' false and defamatory statements about the Macrons. This is not a full statement of our clients' rights and remedies, all of which are expressly reserved.
In terms of the actual content of the letter, they write, for the first time ever, by the way, she's not President Macron's blood relative. They say that they stated this in February 3rd. You guys have access to that legal letter. And the one on December 3rd is the first one we received before we had any communication. So this is just a...
Minute Rice, 1954, who writes, "Where's the corkboard and red string? This shit is that level of insanity." And I need to ask y'all to come in just like a little bit here. Just come in a little bit. It's so much worse than that. It's so much worse than just red string and corkboard. And I'm going to show it to you guys by the time we get through this segment. Okay, I'm setting up all the pieces right now, but there's one key one that I've struggled to find for years since I originally found it, and I finally goddamn found it. So, stay tuned. Let's get back into it.
Lie and a weird paragraph, and of course, they're not answering any of our pointed questions, which we asked them about whether or not she transitioned. But then they list, and this is just literally an appendix of statements I have made online. You can start scrolling through this. None of this is defamation in America. None of this is defamation in America. It's really weird. It's a weird letter. Again, we're going to publicize this on CandaceOwens.com so you can read it yourself. But I just want to read a couple of these points because we're going, what are you suggesting here? Like, you can't say that me tweeting, hey guys, watch this episode, pull it back up, Skylar. Hey guys, do you want to watch this episode, is defamation.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they're talking about the entire goddamn miniseries you produced. Specifically with a man who is implicated in other lawsuits that they have won against this particular defamatory line of statements. So, yeah, it's a hard argument, but that's all right.
Like, if it's, let's look at that point there. If it's really you, Brigitte Macron, and you didn't take on the identity of your sister, if it's really you, ... like, that's not even kind of defamation. This is really strange. Brigitte Macron, perhaps, is Jean-Michel Trogg. No, that is not defamation. Who are you?
I wonder if Candace Owens is trying to argue that it's not defamation, because there's nothing inherently wrong about being a man or being a woman. Like, I wonder if that's the argument she's going with. Just like weirdly trying to like 4D chess to like trans people are fine, actually. It's the cover up that's the problem, but that's absolutely not what's happening, because Candace Owens hates trans people.
You really? And what is your relationship to Emmanuel Macron? That is not defamation. It's beyond weird. It looks like a dissertation of my tweets and of points from my episode, and they're sending me what I said, like I have Alzheimer's, and they're trying to remind me of what I said. And it's strange because, once again, we've already hit back hard and said we are not getting in line. We've said, file your lawsuits, my friend. We'd like to force you. We'd like to compel you to answer these questions, not on just behalf of the French citizens who all know the truth.
Just as an FYI, the Macrons have already won multiple lawsuits on this particular conspiracy in France. Like, the fact that Candace Owens is like, come at me, bro. Like, they have evidence on their side here. They have a litany of victories already. Even if she's trans, then what? Well, again, you all are familiar with the saying, the cover-up is worse than the crime. Here it's a little bit similar, right? Like, the idea that everyone around Brigitte Macron is covering up for her being trans is kind of like the bread and butter of this particular conspiracy theory, right? Like, oh, well, maybe it's not a problem that she's trans. You know, it just is an indicator she's mentally ill. Again, we're talking in conservative circles. That's what they believe. So that's bad. But also, everyone around her, to the very top levels of society around the world, and they're capable of pulling strings in every country, is lying to you. Now, what are they lying about? Are they lying about the flat earth? Are they lying about the hollow earth? Are they lying about the Nazi moon base? What are they lying about? The lizard people? Like, it's just, you know, whatever. Like, you introduce the idea that there is an elite group of people, and it's often the Jews, but like, it can also be trans people is another one that is increasing in like prominence in far right circles. It can also be a host of other groups of people as well. But you introduce that idea, and then you introduce that there's the people at the top of society are not trustworthy. And then you can start attaching different ideas, and the different conspiracy communities all overlap with each other. And so you then get exposed to these other conspiracy theories that hinge on that same distrust, right? So, just as an FYI. So, Candace Owens getting sued by the French government, and obviously, this is a big deal. Obviously, this is making some big waves here. So we have to turn it over to our very expert correspondents in MAGA world, the Patrick Bet David boys, to see kind of what their take is on this entire situation that's unfolding. Because clearly, this goes all the way to the top.
Gets a phone call. She talks about. She talks about it, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, an episode yesterday about a phone call she got out of nowhere from the president about somebody, okay? And I want to play this clip for you. Go ahead, Rob, and play this clip. Here's Candace talking about a phone call she got from the White House. Go ahead, Rob.
And I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. Pick up the phone, and lo and behold, so here's what happened. I I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just like jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, is about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car, and, you know, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then he continues his narrative, and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, you know, he tells me, you know, she's old, and this is really, really impacting her. And then he said, you know, I saw her, you know, Candace, I saw her up close, and she looks like a woman to me. She looks like a woman to me. I had dinner with her at the top of the Eiffel Tower. And I explained to him that she has had...
Wow. Woke Donald Trump. Not immediately glomming on to a transphobic conspiracy theory.
Had this amazing doctor who specializes in transgenderism surgeries or feminization procedures.
Robert, how much longer do we have with this
about this,
I've
guys.
seen this whole thing.
This is
even Patrick Bet-David's like, yeah, this all right. Wrap this up. This is being a little too verbose for us.
crazy. This is
minutes
wacky. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that
So it's a
at that
4-minute
moment I
clip.
realized that
We can
one day
pause
this
it
is
at
going
this point. So, Vinny, your thoughts on this? So this is Candace saying that Trump called her to say Macron is asking to pump the brakes because we're trying to do deals, and hey, you know, Candace.
Okay, I know, totally unrelated, but what the hell are these? Why are there like weird chrome tie-dye bears on the shelf behind them?
Can you give Candace a call? Your thoughts on this
Listen,
call here?
with all due respect, and you know I absolutely love Candace, but you don't go talking about a private call from the President of the United States. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's freaking Ronald Reagan's ghost. Okay? That's just not loose lips. It's just...
Wait, I'm sorry. If Ronald Reagan's ghost called you, you wouldn't tell everybody? Vinny, you're telling me right now, you get a call at night, you pick up the phone. It's 12 a.m. The light is blinking. No time has come to a stop. You pick it up and you hear Ronald Reagan eating a jar of jelly beans on the other side of the line. He doesn't say anything. He just, you know, he's just sucking them down. You wouldn't tell everyone? And he's just like, wait, what am I doing here? Ah, Earth, it's been so long. And then he hangs up. What is this contraption? Click. You're telling me you wouldn't tell everyone about that, Vinny? I would.
It's just weak character. Like if you're leaking conversations or clicks or whatever, like it's not, you can't trust someone who's willing to expose stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's not a good look because, like, for instance, do you think anybody's gonna ever have a conversation just with whatever it is with Candace with that information coming out? Do you honestly think, would you trust?
Did the wealth ever trickle down? Everyone who lived in poverty, all the welfare queens are dead now, right? I'm Ronald Reagan's ghost.
Would you trust?
First of all, let me ask this question: Do you believe that phone call happened? I think she said Rob. What was the exact date? She said sometime in February. So you're talking about 30 days after inauguration, January 20th. I think she says the phone call happened third week of February. The question is, do you believe the call happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
2. So you believe the phone call happened, that President Trump called?
My opinion, yes.
Okay, you believe that.
It's
Okay.
too easy to deny, right? It's like, we never talked to her.
Adam, you believe that the phone call happened?
I do. Do you want me to my feedback?
But the second thing is there anything?
You know, I do have a weird fondness for the social dynamics of these four men, specifically the way they constantly tell one another in nonverbal ways to fuck off. Like, did you guys caught that, right?
I do. Do you want me to, my feedback?
But the
Do you want my feedback? That he just keeps talking like, holy fuck. No, we don't, Adam. We just wanted to know you were there.
second thing is there anything wrong with her publicly sharing a phone call that, I guess the second question is, do you think she asked permission from the Trump to publicly talk about the phone call?
No.
Hell no.
Then do you think it's appropriate for her to publicly talk about
not at
that?
all.
Becomes a question. Adam, your thoughts?
Well, it depends on what the phone call basically encompassed, if he said, keep this between us or not. But Candace has an opportunity to basically make friends with Trump or make enemies with Trump. If Elon Musk is an enemy of Trump at this point, you better believe Candace might be in her sights. Now, what you don't see in that clip is the reason that Emmanuel Crone asked that of Trump was because basically it was, you know,
Those bears are basically labubus for crypto bros, and they cost $300 minus $5,000. They're art for the tasteless.
Wait. I'm sorry, the text-to-speech really threw me for a loop there. Are they, it's pronounced labubus? I assumed they were called labubus. And I hate that. Labubus, that's a name I can actually kind of like a little bit. Labubu? It is Labubu? I thought so. Labubus sounds like a very obscure Egyptian deity of something silly, like some silly aspect of life, and I am kind of here for Labubus. Just caught up with stream. Did you notice the cease and desist letter that Candace showed in her video, spelled sincerely in its closing as sincerel? I didn't. Holy fuck.
Heard the quid pro quo thing before. He said, listen, if you want my help in ending the Russia-Ukraine war, I need a favor from you. Have Candace, who has made it her life's work of dismantling my wife's, husband, whatever body parts, if you really want me to go all in and help save literally millions of lives, do me a favor and make a call to her and see if she can just chill out. Because no matter who you are, no matter what you do, we all have emotions. We all have feelings. Everything's interpersonal relationships. We just talked about how Trump and Musk fell out because of personal relationships.
Roller of eyes.
Do you believe that?
Hello, everybody.
Macron maybe said something to Trump about, hey, this woman has made her life's work about my wife being a man or not? I totally believe that happened. So, but I also, if Trump never told her don't say anything, I'm actually understand why Candace would say this. I'll say one last thing. Making a documentary about Emmanuel Macron's
roller
wife,
of eyes.
or
Get good
ending the
sleep.
Ukraine-Russia war, to me, it's not even a conversation. You end the war. But Candace in another clip said this. She said, I didn't know what to do. So do you know who she said she called? She said she called Tucker, who she doesn't really speak with, but she got his advice, free speech advice. She said at the time, I was pregnant with my fourth child, I believe. I was emotional, and I tend to be hot-headed. Wink, wink. I do believe that she's been infected by the IDS, Israel Derangement Syndrome.
Jesus Christ.
But I don't totally understand why she's putting that out there for clips, for views. I get that. But hopefully this will lead to ending the Russia-Ukraine war, and we can refocus the conversation not on Emmanuel Macron.
I can't believe that they're like, yeah, Candace Owens is responsible for ending the Russia-Ukraine war. Obviously, we all know that that didn't happen. You know, that this is from like a couple weeks ago. But additionally, like, y'all are willing to believe this, like, sight unseen, that like she's claiming to have had briefly the power to like bring together entire nations. I'm gonna need some actual evidence of that.
I don't think she said that she's changing her position. The fact that she's talking about this, that's bringing it back up. So I don't think this is going to put an end to any of it. It is back surface that people are talking. We haven't talked about this. And by the way, you want to know what's crazy? I actually think she's right about Macron.
Me too.
I actually think that
So we make it a full halfway through the video before Patrick Bet-David is like, yeah, Macron is a
David
trans woman.
Attenborough voice * witness the hierarchy enforcement of the straight men. The subordinate male makes a motion for attention by asking to give feedback while the superordinate male ignores him.
Witness the hierarchy enforcement of the straight men. The subordinate male makes a motion for attention by asking to give feedback, while the superordinate male ignores him. Nature is fascinating, as always.
And I'm not even taking a position that I think that was one of the better jobs of investigation work that's happened the last couple of years. And I think I even remember we were at a UFC fight the first time she was reading it and she's telling us about it backstage. But the challenge becomes that phone call. And Adam, to add to what you just said right there, I don't think this gets her closer to Elon, because she's also been very critical of Elon and Trump. So I don't think it's going to be all of a sudden getting there. Tom, your thoughts on this position here?
So number one, I have a couple thoughts. Man, if the President of the United States calls you and he's speaking about that, I don't think you talk about it on the air unless you had some sort of a framework agreement, right? And say, well, Mr. President, I appreciate the call and everything. You know, I'm very public and I'm very out there talking about many things. If I was to mention this,
I love that their main problem with this is just, well, if the president calls you, you shouldn't tell anyone ever. No telling anyone the president talked to you if the president talks to you. It's a secret. It's a secret you and he share. You know, every day, another mystery.
Yeah, I would prefer you didn't. You can do what you want, Candace, but I would prefer you didn't. I think you ask about that. We've had all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of heavy-hitting, major political people that have said things behind the scenes. Would we have liked, or would you have liked to gone out and say things? Hey, folks, in the insurance.
Yeah, we have 10 tapes full of Republican guests just saying the N-word. It's crazy. But we would never release them because of our principles.
Industry, the following might help us out. Yeah, but we respect what's called confidence. And I just don't think with a sitting president, unless you've got a conversation there and an understanding that you say anything. Now then, I think she's right about Macron's wife, and she's not the only one, but her investigative reporting was quite good and quite deep and quite, backed up. But okay. I have a final little point here. And
her investigative reporting on Brigitte Macron? That's so interesting. This is a great moment for us to depart from this rather than watch the remaining 7 minutes, because, folks, I found out that Candace Owens has a website. This is actually a tangent. This is actually a tangent. We'll get to what I was transitioning to in a minute. But she has a website, and on her website, you can pre-order her new book. And now, having seen the first season of the show where women are property, you know the show. It's on Hulu. I'm totally blanking right now. Handmaid's Tale. Thank you. Remember the lady from Handmaid's Tale, the first season, who used to do book tours as an anti-feminist? Y'all remember that character? The evil lady? Anyway, I bring that up for no reason in particular. Here's the book you can pre-order on Candace Owens' website. Make Him a Sandwich: Why Real Women Don't Need Fake Feminism. Yep. Anyway, that's being sold on her website right now. I don't even know. I have nothing to say to this. This is just kind of objectively funny. This looks like a book that is fake. Like, this looks like if you were to make a fake anti-feminist book and put it into like your movie or your show or something as a joke, this is what it would be. You know? So anyway, I'm finding it all so fascinating, but let's move on, because as you all know, all of this hinges on this Becoming Brigitte documentary series. Again, just some of these videos have 3, 4, 5 million views ballparked, and like that's a lot. So a while ago, I dug into this story. I think it was the first time she mentioned this conspiracy theory, and there were already like lawsuits going on in France because people on the right in America were slower to latch onto this story because it's happening in France. But essentially, French tabloids had published stories and continued to publish stories about how Brigitte Macron was a man, and well, they got sued, right? And eventually they lost this lawsuit. But at the time, I tried to look into what Candace Owens was basing her information on. And what I found was this website called, well, I can't even read the name of it, but I have a link to it that I'll put in chat. Now, here's what we got. Here is like the basis for her claims. From Jean-Michel to Brigitte Trognu, lies at the LC. And what you see here is a gigantic archive of literally all the insane information related to this. You have claims that there are like clone people. You have claims that there are, you know, that she like her brother died, or no, her sister died, and she assumed her sister's identity, and like it's just nonsense based off of like old pictures. They found her brother alive, by the way, and his her brother's family alive, just as an FYI. And yeah, you have an entire section here of like anti-vax conspiracism. You have like, this is GeoCities level tin hat bullshit. They're like, she has the bone structure of a man. Look it, we photoshopped a man's face. Case closed. It's literally just all bullshit. The site is dead as soon as you linked it. I don't know if what that means, but like, it's nuts. It's just like, look, a real woman has a big ass, and Brigitte Macron doesn't have a big ass. Case closed. Like, it's psychotic. It's genuinely psychotic. But it goes on like this. I've been scrolling down here. You know what? I'm just going to let it scroll until we get to the bottom, because I feel like seeing all of these images posted over and over and over again, the tabloids being posted over and over again, this is the sign of a deeply unwell mind. This is not proof of anything. This is like insane, stalker, invasive behavior that at the end of the day is about something that isn't important. Like, if she's trans, that's fine. It's not your business. But like, all these people are like, ah, yeah, but it's the giant cover-up. Look at that. Look at that. Like, it's, again, we're at the anti-vax stuff now. We're not even halfway through this. I remember seeing this before somewhere. I mean, I did cover this years ago. It's possible you saw that. Why was Baphomet there? Because, again, it's all the conspiracies. This page is all the conspiracies, chat. It's all of them. So, like, oh, it's the satanic. It's the child sex trafficking. It's, you know, it's all of it. She wore flat shoes one time. She's a man. Like, it's just crazy shit. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. This is when I say it's worse than Pepe Sylvia. This is like some next level shit. It's like political cartoons. You have like a timeline of events. You have like flow charts. You have like, oh, well, COVID factors in on this somehow. You've got all kinds of like, oh, look it, we have all of their family photos forever. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. It's AI breakdowns of whether or not someone looks like someone else in a picture. You know, what could go wrong? Is this just one person? It's like, this website is compiled by one person, I believe, but it's all what this conspiracy is. This is the crystallization of every aspect of what the Brigitte Macron conspiracy is. You know, we're not even halfway yet. I've been talking this entire time. Look, she's wearing jeans, clearly a man. Look it. She had brothers, but then she became their sister. It's insidious. Yeah, man is when you have joints that are prominent. Yeah, like when we talk about this being absolute bullshit, the Obama precedent. That's right. Did you think we were going to get through this without this conspiracy theory also referencing how Michelle Obama is a man? Because that's also something that Candace Owens believes. Again, because of this shit. Just the wife of anyone you don't like, I guess, in the conservative world is a trans woman now. Of course, we have all the hits. Yeah, all of them. All of them. I'll never forget the whole ape in heels shit. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. In 1988, Jean-Michel had already become Brigitte. Like, it's just psycho shit. Pictures of, like, Brigitte Macron as, like, the devil.
I feel like this would work better with Francis Dolarhyde occasionally screaming "Do you see" at Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Do you see? Do you see? Look at the pictures, do you see? This is psychosis. Transphobia is a brainworm. Yeah, like that's kind of why I'm scrolling through this and just like letting you guys take this in, because this is not okay. Like, this is the result of a deeply unwell mind. And the people who peddle this for their own aggrandizement, like Candace Owens, I find very contemptible. You are spreading this around and actively trying to convince people about something you know is not true because it's shocking and salacious if it were. And you're actively you're actively pushing this, and it's just a fast track to breaking people's brains. Like, you're deliberately trying to break the brains of the people who watch your content. And I know my content is painful to watch sometimes, but like, it's never out of a maliciousness or a hatred of you guys or a contempt for your intelligence. It's just that the world is pretty bad sometimes. This is just nuts. Look at how their faces are shaped. No woman's face could ever look like this. Look, this neck has wrinkles. Other necks don't have wrinkles. Checkmate, atheists. Just an in-depth diagram about whether or not she tucks or has had bottom surgery, because again, it's all sexual.
They don't believe in trans PPL, which makes it crazier. I will disguise as a woman. But I'm really a man. Nyaha. And no one will know. It's all a part of my master plan to do evil.
Brutus Magnuson, no, but it is like that. Like, that's what they think, though. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Ode to Macron Mephisto. Jesus Christ. You got the AI art, of course. Hallmark of fascism. This is the worst Ancient Aliens. Is it possible? Oh, but yeah, in case you guys missed that, yeah, vaccination equals protection. A Pied Piper leading everyone to their deaths. Cool stuff. Cool stuff happening here. Fighting the techno-sanitary monster. Socrates, Plato, and the COVID sophists. It's again, it just keeps going. We're not even
Jack scrolling, chats lolling.
We're not even 3/4 of the way done. When we talk about like fascism being anti-intellectual, this is what we mean. It's anti-empiricist, anti-intellectual. It mires you in conspiracy theories so you can't actually figure out what the hell is going on in the world. And like at the end of the day, it's to lull you into a state of either inoperability or like complacency and make you disposable. Ivermectin. The freedom convoys, of course. We had to bring Canada into this. The freedom convoys knew what was up about Brigitte Macron being trans. Ay, ay, ay. Now, there is something to criticize Brigitte Macron on, and it is the way that she essentially groomed Emmanuel Macron. That, I think, is far more valid a thing to critique Brigitte Macron on. Like the fact that she was his English teacher when he was a teenager.
A lesson I learned from the book on
Sussy as
tyranny.
fuck.
Fascism is not supposed to make sense. Also remember Steve Bannon's Flood the Zone.
Yep. No, I mean, like, that is why this is like the perfect thing for Candace Owens to focus on. It's another aspect of flooding the zone with complete and utter bullshit. You know, it takes me like an hour to go through this and show you guys this is the depths of shit that this is filled with. God. Yeah. Huh? Could this odd fold or odd fit of the pants while someone's in motion be a penis? But yeah, like fascism isn't when I say like fascism is anti-intellectual and anti-empirical or empiricist, what I mean is that it does not make sense. It is a contradictory ideology that is designed poorly and ensures its ultimate failure. What website is this? This is the website that has just been compiling all of the Brigitte Macron is a secret trans person stuff. Yeah, it's on precibus.free.fr. This website is hell in HTML form. It really, really is. Well, if the AI software is saying these pictures look the same, then it must look the same. AI would never get something wrong. Time Man of the Year? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Huh. That's so strange. Let's take a look here. Oh, also, will Tucker Carlson interview Xavier Poussard? It's a good question. Wait, I'm English though. Okay, no, he hasn't done an interview with Xavier Poussard yet. But let's take a look. March 12th, 2024. Candace Owens is a famous US journalist with 3 million followers on YouTube and 5 million on Twitter. Yesterday, she published a 17-minute video that's proving a hit across the Atlantic, entitled Incensed, This is the Biggest Political Scandal in Human History, based on fates and documents and links to this page of the Precibus dossier. That's right, folks. When I originally found this, I was reacting to this video. Weird. I could not for the life of me find this website again until now.
When will we get the real reveal that Thomas is not so secretly a trans man?
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 sub. But yeah, her evidence for this entire claim rests on this website. Like when I say like, oh, this is just a website that consolidates all the information. No. It's not just a website that consolidates all this information and conspiracy theory nonsense. This is the website she got it from. Understand that at some point, Candace Owens came to this website that we are still not done scrolling through, saw this and said, yeah, this is a trustworthy and reliable source. Candace Owens made a 16-minute video. First of all, Candace is right on the money. One thing we know for sure is that Brigitte Macron was born Jean-Michel Trogneux. All those who have seriously studied the case without preconceived ideas share this observation. That's enough to get Macron and his mentor Jean-Michel out of the way, as their lies are beyond comprehension. And then there are what Candace calls theories, what we call hypotheses or scenarios, where, depending on the person, there are divergences, which are ultimately quite incidental. The most important one concerns the identity of the mother of the 3 Azier children. God. Also, yeah, here's Candace Owens' direct quote on this. This episode is blowing up, so I just want to say, after looking into this, I would stake my entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is in fact a man. Any journalist or publication that is trying to dismiss this plausibility is immediately identifiable as establishment. I've never seen anything like this in my life. The implications here are terrifying. I do not intend to let up on this story, and I'm calling on other journalists to look into this explosive story and report accordingly. And again, I have looked into it. I got to this website. I spent hours reading it. And I can tell you guys, this is just horse shit. This is just horse shit. From all the ivermectin, apparently. But let's continue. Because we're not done. We haven't finished. We haven't gotten to the bottom of the page yet. It's wild. Again, hey, it's weird. It's so strange. Look, Candace Owens. It's almost like, I don't know, the main figures behind this are Candace Owens and this Xavier Poussard. Huh. Strange. And is that Jimmy Dore? Why, I haven't heard of Jimmy Dore in a while. Is Jimmy Dore like just incidental? Like nothing here actually references it. Yeah, why? Oh, did Candace Owens go on the Jimmy Dore show? Oh, this is from his interview with Candace Owens. Oh. I mean, that explains a lot, right? God, what a disgusting hack. Oh, she made a shirt. Candace Owens made a shirt calling Brigitte Macron a man. That's nuts, dog. All right. Okay. July 24th, 2024. Jean-Michel's memories in Brigitte Macron's head. Like, oh, okay. Let's just read this, okay? In 1985, Jean-Michel Trogneux, born in 1945, usurped the identity of his sister, Brigitte, N°1, Trogneux, born in 1953, which identity had already been usurped since 1962 by Brigitte Azier, also born in 1953. Jean-Michel, thus becoming Brigitte number 3, manages several types of memories. His own, which are Jean-Michel's until 1985, then Brigitte number 3 until 1985. Those of someone 8 years younger, embodied by Brigitte number 1 until 1961, and Brigitte number 2 from 1962 to 1984. This vampirization of identities requires assimilating the milestones and anecdotes of their successive lives and claiming them as one's own, while forgetting, on the other hand, one's own memories going back to the same period. And that's just one paragraph that I'm reading to you guys. That's just one paragraph that I'm choosing to read to you guys at random. It's all insane. It's all absolutely insane. Also, can we just take a moment, because this stood out to me? A Brigitologist reader points out a fifth conclusion where the same person, Brigitte Macron, attributes to herself one day a memory of Brigitte number 2 and another day a contradictory memory of Jean-Michel. A Brigitologist. A Brigitologist. God damn it. Just by the way, these are tables created to assess the probability of different scenarios of how this transition happened and was kept secret. God, it's so dumb. It's so dumb and bad. We're still not even close to being done. We're still not even close to the bottom of the page. The 3rd anniversary of Brigitte Gate. I know we don't need to scroll through this entire thing, but I want to really hammer home the point that this is all crazy nonsense. This is all like the rantings of a lunatic wearing a tinfoil hat on the street trying to tell you that Zoltar is going to come and take all of the people who wear Casio watches up to his spaceship in the sky. You know, like this is just nonsense. Oh, let's take the words of Emma on the YouTube channel Truth Hurst 4217. You know, that super popular channel. I can't. Some of this is just too nuts. Like, some of this is like, oh, yeah, we found this random internet user who writes, like, fanfic, like, smash-up porn on AO3. And you know what? Like, that they make a conspiracy theory out of random internet posters. Yeah, look at that. Another video about it. Candace Owens just making bank off of this. This is both sad and disgusting. Yeah, you can probably all understand why, like, I saw this all unfolding and I was just like, I don't want to talk about this because this is gross and it's weird. And, like, I need a certain amount of energy in order to, like, put this out there and present it to you guys, because this is just, it's horseshit. Like, look at this. Here's Geppetto's Chat GPT revelation. Number 2, Brigitte Macron is the transsexual Veronique from 1977. What are you talking about? After Cotton revelation number 1, before tomorrow's Candace Owens revelations, here's a confirmation, more than a revelation, since we presented it back in January 2022 as our proof number 1. At the time we wrote, certainly the expert is self-proclaimed, but his words appear precise. No contradictory analysis has been presented, and above all, everyone can see from the video above that the voices of Brigitte and Veronique are the same, but for many, that wasn't enough. How many times have we been told we have no proof? Now it's the most famous artificial intelligence that categorically affirms it. So even if this is a confirmation of a revelation, we consider that for the ignorant or doubtful people, many of whom have discovered this site lately, this is a revelation. Again, and I'm just going to continue to really hammer this home. Stop using AI. It is designed to break your brain and make you more susceptible to being manipulated. Again, we've been talking so much lately about people who have been interacting with AI for a while, just having their brains completely broken. We watched, we looked at Terrence Howard on the Patrick Bet-David show a few days ago, and like, his brain is so broken, and he talks about interacting and how his hypotheses are all verified by like AI and ChatGPT and Grok, and like, he's claiming 1 times 1 is 2. He's claiming we don't know how multiplication works. You know, like the CEO of Uber thinks that he's a vibes physicist. And I'm not even joking about that. That's not a joke or hyperbole. He literally refers to it like that. Yeah, there was a story just the other day about an open AI investor, like a high-tier investor whose brain is broken to the extent that his coworkers are talking about how they're worried about him. So, like, don't use AI. Don't do that. Stop. It will break you. We're still not at the bottom. ChatGPT revelation number 3. Just an entire section of talking with AI and validating their preconceived notions. It's Musk ends Twitter censorship. Huzzah! Yeah, again, you even see stuff reposted over and over and over again. I have no words for this. Like, they're alleging like 3 different Brigittes are one person. Oh, Chillin' Millins. We actually talked about that AI deleting the entire database earlier today. The Forbidden Survey. It just keeps going. Just keeps going. God damn. Courage is to seek the truth and tell it. It is not to suffer the law of the triumphant lie. Only small secrets need protection. The big ones are kept secret by public incredulity. The proofs, the 2022 scenario and its tree and other scenarios linked at the bottom. Like if we go all the way, we can't even scroll up that fast. There we go. Like this website is truly like brain broken. Like y'all, this is where she's getting all of her information from. So when we talk about Candace Owens and whether or not she's a grifter, the answer is yes. She doesn't actually believe this shit. She's like, she's of my generation. She goes to this website and sees it for the lies that it is, but she's perfectly willing to use it for her own aggrandizement and money, frankly. It's disgusting and disturbing. And I think it should be especially disturbing if you're conservative. Like, you're such an easy mark that these people, these Candace Owens types, they're putting out this content because they know you're just going to lick it up like slop. You're going to be like, oh yeah, that sure, whatever. The president of France's wife is trans and everyone's lying about it. And so that she can onboard you into another conspiracy theory down the line when this one is no longer useful to her. Because you already believe it, you're going to continue to believe it, and then she can onboard you to another conspiracy. It's really great for audience retention if you're a conspiracy theory channel, right? I think this is one of the reasons why Alex Jones is so successful at what he does. Because essentially, he gets you hooked into one conspiracy theory, and then he can very easily just continue hooking you to another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And like that's what he does. That's why wherever he goes, he's able to retain an audience because they all like being hooked. They like being hooked. They like it. They love it. They crave it because it's what they have learned to expect. They have a learned helplessness when it comes to conspiracy theory. And that being said, folks, I think I have to call that segment because we're at rock bottom. You know, this is what it looks like. You resurrect a GeoCities site from like 1996 and post a bunch of conspiracies on it, and conservatives will flock to it like flies on shit. It's crazy. So there you have it, folks. Segment done. Oh, that was rough.
That was some weird shit.
Yes, it was. Whoo, boy, folks. You've been enjoying the show. We've been going for almost 4 hours, and I would very, very humbly ask that you click the goddamn button. Like, comment, subscribe, do the things. You know, the things you can do for free that help the show. Do those. Go. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click button. Click button. Click button. Click button. Click You're so great, Jack. You're so great, Freedom Evie. Hello, everyone. How we doing? And Also, please, by all means, if you enjoyed the stream, consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats. Because, guys, I'm going to be moving soon. And the dono ghost. The dono ghost is getting hungrier for my bones by the day. If I don't have some bones to present to the dono ghost, I won't be able to move out of this place. I'll be boneless. Gonna watch more Deep Space Nine Season 2? Hell yeah, Bastion. Freedom Evie, thank you for the 100 biddies. And Van Briggs. Yeah. If the donut ghost lives in your closet, what happens when you move? I don't know. Maybe it will move behind another closet. I bet it will follow me wherever I go. The only way I know about creatures like Candace Owens, Shapiro, Crowder, Fuentes, etc. is from leftist channels. Otherwise, I wouldn't know any of them existed. It's good to know the enemy, though. That's kind of my take on it, right? Like, I think it is good to understand and know what they are talking about and why. Because I think otherwise, you know, sometimes people can be ignorant of what it actually is, or like see someone talking about it or discussing it and not really know what the hell is going on. Your mom watches Candace Owens? I am very sorry to hear that. I hate all of the moving. Good luck. Thanks, Smash to Bits. Beep boop. Heading to bed. Good night, Van Briggs. All right, where we at here? Where we at? Also, chat, I think this week we might do, in order, or maybe next week, we might do a cult anime stream. Largely because we need to raise some bones for the Dono Ghost, and for the Dono Ghost I mean to pay the increased bill on finishing the studio. God damn it. But we'll be doing that. I think we will also be doing maybe like we might do another kind of stream. We'll see if I can make it happen. Also, Freedom Heavy, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I think it's worth talking about the Happy Science anime, especially as a story like broke today of one of Trump's former advisors now is working for like a far right Japanese campaign. There's I think there's an increased need to talk about Happy Science in relation to far right Japanese extremism. So, be doing that. Did I know that Happy Science has a political party? I did. I did in the very first episode of our deep dive into the Happy Science cult. I talk about the ties between the current Republican Party and the Happy Science cult. Yeah, they are responsible for creating. Yeah, I did. Yeah, they're responsible for turning like essentially the Republican Turning Point USA events. They brought them over to Japan. What's their party? It's called the Happiness Realization Party. The party itself isn't big, but they have a lot of influential members. I missed that episode. It should be the first episode on the Happy Science playlist that we have on the channel. So if you missed that, there's an easy way to find it. Also, Rhombus, we will do analog horror, I think, probably imminently next week as well. I think that'd be good. I think that'd be a good move. Whoo, boy. Melanie, thank you for the $5 dono.
Headed off to bed, Bedge. Keep living and fighting, Chat and Jack, for the late King Oliver Hyper's Peepo cheer.
King Oliver Hyper's Peepo cheer indeed. Hello. Fight the power that be in King Oliver's memory. Just a little king. The only king I'll stand for. Oh, baby. Rest in power, King. Hello. Look at these babies. Little heart toy, it looks like. That's so cute. Oh. Baby. What a beautiful little prince. Baby. little freaked out baby. Oh. Always a good de-stress. I really appreciate that you love Oliver so much. It's good coping mechanism for me dealing with his loss still. Yeah, of course, Melanie. And thank you for sharing him with us. I think I speak for all of us when I say we all appreciate and celebrate Oliver. Whoo, baby, folks. I think that segment about Candace Owens took everything I had. I was planning another segment after this, but I think that sapped my will to live. And I'm slowly dying, and I need to revitalize the parts of me that seek yet to live. So I want to tell you guys right now that my plan for tomorrow is to hopefully have my partner on stream, and we might be able to play some Date Everything if we get enough subs and donos. That being said, I also reserve the right to kind of cancel that, because literally every day there's been some like kind of huge bombshell bullshit about Jeffrey Epstein, and I have no reason to suspect that will not continue tomorrow. So that being said, folks, we'll be back tomorrow, and yeah, I'll see you guys then. We'll raid into somebody on Twitch, so don't go anywhere over there, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.
In a pleasant wooded valley lived a huntsman tall and able. He relied on skill and cunning for the food upon his table. He would walk the forest shadows with his little son in tow, teaching him the archer's art and all that he should know. Keep your eye clear and keen like a falcon on the wing. Keep your heart strong and steady like your hand upon the string. Never bow to a tyrant while your people are laid low. for the highest head may fall to the man who wields a bow. In the valley there was freedom, and a man was left to living. But as year gave way to year, the ruling men grew less forgiving. On a day as black as death, a governor to rule them came, turning landsmen into slaves, and Gessler was his name. In the center of the village, Gessler set a lofty pillar, and he ordered every subject, be he serf or be he miller, to do homage to the hat that Gessler placed atop the pole, or to forfeit to the crown his life, if not his soul. But the huntsman William Tell came into town the morning after. William heard of Gessler's order and could only roar with laughter. Honest men should hold a rank above a petty autocrat. I would never bow to him, I'll not bow to his hat. Keep your eye clear and keen like a falcon on the wing. Keep your heart strong and steady like your hand upon the string. Never bow to a tyrant while your people are laid low. For the highest head may fall to the man who wields a bow. Gessler's soldiers seized the huntsman and his little son for treason, but the people of the village cried for mercy and for reason. Gessler stays the execution, but a cruel test contrives. Prove to me your skill, and you may ransom back your lives. I have heard it said you have no peer with longbow and with arrow, that your shaft can find the quickest hare and fell the smallest sparrow. On the head of your young son I'll place an apple ripe and red. Split it with one shot, or at my word you both are dead. William Tell went to his son and said, I swear I will not hurt you. Courage will not bow to fear, nor shall this evil conquer virtue. Turn your face towards our home and stand as still as any tree. I will split the apple, we shall soon be home and free. Keep your eye clear and keen like a falcon on the wing. Keep your heart strong and steady like your hand upon the string. Never bow to a tyrant while your people are laid low. For the highest head may fall to the man who wields a bow. Every tongue was still and silent as the archer paced the distance. Gessler's soldiers lined the square, and there was no hope of resistance. William knocked a single arrow, put his shoulders back and drew. Then the arrow sang and split the apple clean in two. All at once the crowd erupted into cheers and into chatter, and a second arrow fell from William's quiver with a clatter. Gessler said, why hold two arrows when I bid you shoot but one? That one would have found your heart if I had shot my son. Take the archer now and hang him, Gessler to his men was crying. But before the soldiers moved, the archer and his son were flying. From the shelter of the wood, the hunter loosed a final dart. Gessler died with William's arrow buried in his heart. Keep your eye clear and keen like a falcon on the wing. Keep your heart strong and steady like your hand upon the string. Never bow to a tyrant while your people are laid low. For the highest head may fall to the man who wields a bow. Keep your eye clear and keen like a falcon on the wing. Keep your heart strong and steady like your hand upon the string. Never bow to a tyrant while your people are laid low. For the highest head may fall to the man who wields a bow.